there's some teams there, of course, that finished today 3-0. They got out early. They got out an early day. Some teams had to go all the way towards the end of the day, but ultimately it was a crazy day of games today. Just so many upsets in the Swiss.
And then, of course, what we're going to be focusing on here today will be that bracket phase we keep talking about. Their performances now, slotting them in here. And these are going to be some difficult matches.
Yeah, it shook out very well for some of these games. I mean, maybe not so much for some of the teams that have to go up against Extra and Elevate. And in terms of Godlike and Wolves Esports, that's going to be really, really tough. But those 3-0 teams coming through as the top seeds are always going to be tough games. But those ones in the middle are spicy. We have some very, very good games coming up. And this is what they're playing.
Of course, it's not just that massive trophy on stage or the title of the best in the world. $1 million on the line here in total. $400,000 going to first place. But of course, as this is the ultimate end of our entire year of competition, everybody gets to go home with a little bit of something in their pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine you're Wolves Esports, right? You get the lion's share of the prize pool last year. You're still in the competition this year. You could well get that top dog prize pool of $400,000 once more. And if you've made it to this stage of the competition already, you've at least got yourself, I think it's what, 40 grand, something like that. Some crazy amount of money. It's a lot of money, regardless. Yeah, you're already doing pretty well for yourselves, but there's still a lot more money on the line.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby for day 2 of the competition. Now, one thing that we have been highlighting a lot throughout the entire year, and especially this weekend, is the kind of rivalry between all of the regions. Let's take a look at which regions have made it through so far to day 2, because right now, China has all 3 of those slots that they came in with, they've managed to keep.
Yeah, and I don't think that's too much of a surprise to anybody, realistically. We knew that China coming into this side of things were one of the strongest regions, if not the strongest overall region. But the East v West battle, okay, is it that much of a battle anymore? I don't know. They used to look real strong, but crazy to see Luminosity get themselves through in the way that they did, because there as well on the west side. But
Will not, but you mentioned it when we were taking a look at the Swiss bracket in terms of the teams that did make their way through. There were 2 who did it absolutely undefeated, and of course that is X-Rock and Elevate at the top of everything. They've got to feel good about that.
oh, I mean, if you're X-Rock, you feel fantastic about that. That's a 6-0 map count. Elevate maybe not necessarily making things harder for themselves, but if you look at the matchups that they had, they would arguably say they were maybe a little bit more difficult, especially, I mean, you're going up against Godlike, then you're going against Q9. These are hard matchups, absolutely, but walking away with wins in that, absolutely.
Yeah, something interesting I think we do today with Elevate is the fact that the match they did lost, was the Search and Destroys, and that's kind of a storyline coming into this event, right? You know, Elevate are Respawn Kings. They're arguably the best Respawn team in the game at the moment. So them losing the Search and Destroys, that was a question mark. So for that to be the only thing they've lost so far is interesting for sure. But here's their matchup against Godlike yesterday, another very difficult opponent that they had to take down.
I was going to say, will they be able to have made those changes in just a night? Have they been able to kind of pick up on those mistakes and see if they can really nail them down here today?
You would say so. I think, you know, these are the kind of teams that do come into that bracket play and they will raise their game. They absolutely would have expected to get on the side of things. For the Swiss, they know they will be coming into that bracket play. This is where they have to elevate bigger.
And well, we keep talking about our teams on the whole, but let's highlight individuals for just a second here, because I know it's only been one day, but we've already had some impressive stats coming out of some of our individuals. Starting off with our top 5 kills, Brody.
Yeah, for sure. So just a reminder, this is going to be skewed slightly towards teams that go further on into the competition. That's why Godlike and Gallerus Wolves, they're all kind of at the top here. But shout out to Trunks, by the way. He's kind of an unloved member of Godlike to a certain extent. Doesn't get the same love that maybe someone like a Bees does. But he went off yesterday, currently leading our kills leaderboard.
And looking over towards the score, actually, for Tectonic, that's got a little bit of a stinger, not making it out, and he was the one who put up the biggest numbers by, well, actually, quite a significant amount. He was doing everything he possibly could for Vitality. Unfortunately, he was the one that actually made the slip up as well, but not surprising to see everybody else here in and around and amongst it, players who made it towards the bracket play.
Yeah, and it's no surprise there that Lucasid has had the most kill streaks this event. This is a guy that can at any given time, and he will go off at any given time. 41 kill streaks in one day of Call of Duty Mobile. That is absolutely insane.
And obviously, Lucas is someone that we've talked about a lot throughout the year as a standout player for that squad. So not surprised that we see him, but also a lot of the names up here on our top 5 leaderboards for all of those categories. Phenomenal performances out of everybody there in this Swiss bracket, but now it's going to get even harder. All right, we're going to start talking about X-Rock. X-Rock is just absolutely untouchable right now. Our team that, like you guys just
happened for the most of them, but no, they were quite happy to say that we were talking about the East versus West, and they were like, we really do not care about the West at all. But now they're going to be coming into this game, not having to worry about the West, have to worry about the East still. But for me, to see their rise from being the team who didn't even make it here last year to now coming in as arguably the team that have looked the best out of everybody is a testament to the hard work that they have put in. They said teamwork is their biggest thing. It looked that way yesterday with a 6-0 map count.
Yeah, it was a 6-0 map count, but not just that. The fact that every single map was indomitable. They faced a team from their own region, which in the past they've definitely had a fight against in Wolves Esports, and they decimated them. So it wasn't just a 2-0, it was something like a 250, 150, something like that, and like a 7-1. It was utterly ridiculous. So got to keep an eye out for them. Here's a look over towards Abiz yesterday. I believe this is a nice little storyline that we had coming into the event. I was so excited when I saw Godlike versus Tribe on the docket for the last match of the day. Abiz went absolutely off. This guy hit 51 kills in a game in which they, I think it was like 41-point club Tribe.
Yeah, it was insane because we were watching the main broadcast back in the green room, but keeping an eye on everything that was going on. And then it came up through and we were looking through the highlights, and I think a couple of other players on Godlike had like 10 to 12 kills, and Abiz had 38. It was just like out of nothing. Crazy stat lines from him, but he's going to have to bring a similar level to that today if they want a chance against X-Rock.
Absolutely, of course, we've got both X-Rock and Godlike behind us right now, setting up for that first match here on the day. Fantastic way for us to kind of kick things off here. Godlike is not going to be an easy opponent for X-Rock.
No, they're not. I think Godlike, again, I think people still underestimate them. The way in which they played Tribe yesterday, I think it proves that they have stepped things up a notch from the 2023 championship. Look, CDSI was not the best event for them. They're even coming into this event with an extra challenge, considering Skullguy once again could not be here, but Neutrino has stepped in and shown that they are absolutely fine with that fill-in player. Day number 1 yesterday, I mean, it was a competitive day, right? They had to go the distance, they had to go to all 5 matches to get themselves into day number 2 of competition. But even the matches that they did end up losing, they were competitive in, right? They went all the way to game number 3. They took that fine range search and destroy off of Elevate. They took the Hacienda hardpoint off of Gallerus. Godlike Esports, I mean, this is still a team that I think if they're able to fix just a couple of nooks in their gameplay, they will absolutely be fine. I don't think X-Rock should be underestimating them here.
No, they can't underestimate them, but they will know that a team like Godlike were at this stage last year. They were very much at this stage. They have got that experience on the highest level. X-Rock are coming into it. Yes, okay, they have done this year, but they haven't had that experience on what is now the biggest of stages. They will have to come into this with a different kind of mindset. They cannot underestimate anybody, and they will not. Godlike are a team, if you do underestimate them, they will absolutely punish you. Let's see how things are going to go down, because as far as their stats go,
such a
such a clean, easy day through it, but all the way through, Godlike had to fight. The fight they did, their hardpoint looks good.
Yeah, and I would argue, to be fair, I think Godlike probably had the more difficult day yesterday. I think X-Rock's most difficult opponent, of course, was Wolves in that 2-0 matchup. And again, I do kind of wonder, and Wolves fans are not going to be happy with me saying this, I wonder how good Wolves are at this tournament, because they didn't look that good against Gallerus, even though they ended up winning, and certainly versus X-Rock, they got dominated. So I don't know if X-Rock kind of had the same caliber of competition yesterday. That's why Godlike stats don't look so peachy.
I think this is going to be great for the storylines here. Now, don't forget, everybody at home, it's the single elimination portion of our competition. So this is do or die for every single team that we're going to be seeing in our matches here up on the main stage today. Whoever wins will survive. Whoever loses does drop out of the competition. This is everything our teams have been playing for. They're going to be looking to raise this trophy above their heads at the end of it all. And you guys were talking about it a lot when we were kind of highlighting these two teams, but we heard it from almost every single player when we had interviews yesterday. The biggest thing is to not underestimate anybody in this competition. If you've made it this far, regardless of the region that you're from, anybody can always surprise you. So you have to go in treating each match as if you're going up against the best.
I think realistically, when we've been in the studio and we've been there for the past 6 months looking through all of these teams, you see the top teams in the region and what they do to some of the other teams, and you're like, oh my god, these guys are insane. And now they're coming into this as like top 16 team, like, they're not realistic in the top, but these guys know what they are doing. The elevation in terms of competition when you get to this stage is very large, so you need to make sure you are locked in for every single game that you go into.
Yeah, let's start picking about this max set then. So this is actually a very interesting one, because we did see these guys face off against one another at CDSI. That was a 3-0 to X-Rock, and all three of those maps are in this map set: the Summit Hardpoint, the Tunisia Search and Destroy, and the Seaside Control. And the long and short of it is, not only was it 3-0, it was a dominant 3-0 for X-Rock. So I'm intrigued to see those maps make it into this series. Not only that, though, I'm kind of feeling like Godlike maybe messed up with the Search and Destroys here, because there's only really a couple of maps you wanted to avoid against X-Rocks. One of them is Fire Range, and the other one is Tunisia. I certainly wouldn't have let the latter of those two through, because it's like, X-Rock Search and Destroy map pool is not that deep. Just veto one of those maps at least.
I think realistically, though, we were just speaking about it before on broadcast. Our theory is that they looked back at this game, said to themselves, right, okay, these are the games, the maps we played against them, this is where we went wrong, let's fix it, let's go back and do it again. So it's comfortability knowing that when you are playing them on this map, you know what to expect, maybe a little bit more than if you throw something different. So there's theory, there's method behind the madness, potentially, we'll see.
Yeah, and just very quickly here as well, I should say that Fire Range Search and Destroy isn't that much of a surprise to me, because it's the map that they took off Elevate yesterday. So I kind of expected that was the one map, was like, I think Fire Range Search and Destroy is going to be in the best of 5. I was right.
All right, well, we've got just a few more minutes here before we get in. The game should be about ready. Give me your quick predictions before we get into this time. I'm going to start with you.
Well, I did say when we were talking about it backstage, I really think X-Rock are going to come in here and absolutely smoke it. I think they'll beat the series. I think they haven't lost a map, and I think they will continue to do so today.
100% hit rate so far, by the way. I feel like this is going to be a 3-2. I honestly...
Either way, I also want to hear from everybody at home. If you're watching, if you're here in the audience with us, or if you're in chat, let us know your thoughts. We've got 3 ones out of both shift and proper, so different from what you guys said.
So different in the sense that they went first in the predictions. I didn't want to just copy them. Wow. So I was thinking 3-1 as well. So that's going to be my excuse towards that if possible. But we've all went X-Rock, and I think that's the point. Look, everybody knows that this X-Rock team are coming as one of the top teams in the game, and they looked it all day yesterday. All
right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for us to get into the first game of day 2 of our competition. Bracket stage is ready to go. Let's dive into it.
Summit Hardpoint to kick things off between these two teams. X-Rock are one of those indomitable teams that everybody would have looked at this weekend and said these are going to be one of the teams to beat. They head into bracket play as the #1 team. It's going to be so difficult for Godlike here, but have they got it within them, Brody? That's the question we're going to find out the answer to very shortly.
Yep, Summit Hardpoint, of course, this was a map in which Godlike have played this multiple times against top teams, not just here, but at CDSI, and they have not been very successful of it. So it's an intriguing pick for the battleground against X-Rock, but let's be honest, is there actually a good battleground that you can have against a monster team like X-Rock? But never count out a roster like Godlike. They're going to be going into this looking for some early P1 control time. We always talk about the fact that early P1 control sometimes kind of catch teams off guard.
It can. You can see teams pick up 20 to 30 in this one. Absolutely no problem. That's what Godlike are trying to do. The Trunks finding two just like that. It's going to help things along the line. Found the third kill off Cam as well. But for X-Rock coming into this, they didn't know what to expect. They had such a comfortable day yesterday, but some would argue that maybe too comfortable of a day hasn't set them up for a high level of competition.
Yeah, I think they're still going to be ready for, though, ultimately, right? They're not going to come in underestimating Godlike here. They're not going to be underestimating, I think, anybody left alive in this competition. Everybody is playing at the highest level of Call of Duty Mobile here, and Godlike, absolutely one of those names to still be concerned about. Off the start of this one, though, Godlike looking better off the back of P1. I've got a feeling that X-Rock might be able to grab this last few seconds of time, unless those kills do start to come through from Godlike. They're definitely trying for it, too, and just looking for the last couple of kills here inside. Oh, but it is going to be X-Rock that should be touching it towards me.
Yeah, having a look towards those final few kills that came through towards the end of P1. A lot of them going over towards those P3 spawns. A slight one's come in here through Neutrino. Now he's going to be looking to try and get some control of this as early as he possibly can for the side of Godlike. As P2 is ongoing, X-Rock picking up time. It's all about the battle for spawns, which Godlike right now are winning.
Yeah, sure. Godlike in control of those spawns, but they can't really afford to give this time away towards X-Rock. So they're going to hit this over and over again. Flanking play coming through from Prevail here. What can they deliver while the rest of the team make their way through the front of this hardpoint? Prevail is actually going to pick up one gunfight here. Turns the attention of X-Rock towards that backline. Is it good enough for Godlike to get in through the front? No, we'll find three. So the answer is no.
There's four. There's five. Just does it all on his own. The equalizer's been popped quite early here from No. Happy to lock down some time here. I think they know they didn't have the spawns. They might have them now. It's a bit of a split for both these two teams. You can see there's one player coming in around the flank with P3 popping in 10. It's going to be there for X-Rock. He's playing so patiently. It's going to be about these gunfights. But inside of the point, it's going to go the way of Godlike. They'll pick up the scrap time. But there is an enemy behind lines right now in terms of where the spawns are for Godlike. They think they've got it clean. X-Rock have got somebody behind them.
Yep, Sueno needs to win this gunfight, and he does. He takes Neutrino down. That's going to up the urgency for Learn, who has already activated the Sparrow inside this hard point. He's already finding kills, spamming the Sparrow for a couple of kills. Is that good enough to get Godlike in?
Flipped it. They managed to get the way through, so Godlike are going to have to come through the front door. Something they were working on pretty much from the word go over towards P2. War Machine's out on either side of things, and they are pretty much having the battle down ice. It's actually going to be on the side of Rua. Managed to get a hold of that and still control here for X-Rock. It shows even though, like, we're thinking about P2, you're thinking about it early doors when you want to get that P3 rotation. They did it with one player towards the back. You've got to give a lot of a shout out to Sunuo. Managing to find that kill, picks up that time, and he's a big reason as why X-Rock are picking up so much time here at P3.
Yeah, we've always had that conversation, right, about kind of the investment here on P3, right? X-Rock went into this with 5 operators ready to go. They've used 4 of the 5 available. Mars, the only one who has not utilized their operator, and it's delivered a basically full 60 hold off the back of that kill. So X-Rock, comfortable lead here, going in towards the next hard point. Godlike, though, they are the ones in control. Chewing it now with the Purifier. What damage can they do? Already 1 kill. More kills being made from the rest of the team. Now having to go to the R9, almost gets that gunfight. So keeping hopes and dreams of Godlike hold alive, but B's now picking up that gunfight, removing 2-1M from the point. That's the investment in the claw to make sure they get hold.
That's a bit of a tight setup, though. They're very, very close. Big kills going to be found towards the backside, and plenty more following up with it for Godlike here. Investing quite a bit, but after that decent time from X-Rock in the previous hill, Godlike have to answer back in some sort of way. And they try to find a way through. Gravity Vortex gun, nail everything else working in his favor. They managed to find a way through. 30 seconds still to play for here. Godlike close spawns. It was momentarily X-Rock inside the point, and still is as they find the kills towards the front as well. Yeah, now they flip the spawns out for the back 25 seconds as well. If you're a Godlike, you can't really afford to not hit this time, so you will do so, but I don't think you're even really going to get close. X-Rock are watching every single line of sight at the moment. One player attempting to slip by here. Learn, not going to happen. Not when X-Rock are doing X-Rock things here in map number 1. This lead is starting to get a little bit out of hand at the start of this game, Ton. Yeah, looking over towards their previous matchup at CDSI. It was a 250 to 157 win for X-Rock, and they are pretty much on for that kind of scoreline right now. That P3 rotation was really what was impressive, and the fact that, for me, when you go over towards P4, you limit on the side of Godlike to so little in comparison to what they could have had a hold of. It felt like the spawns were with them the majority of the time, but X-Rock through the front door is what seems to be working out right now. Having a looking over towards the kills for both these two teams, it is No-No leading, and of course already bringing in the equalizers over towards P1. They know there is good time up for off here.
Yeah, X-Rock now going to invest here as well. War Machine and equalizers into the play. We saw No-No was capable of these earlier on. How many more kills can he get? Couple easy pickings for No-No. There it is, X-Rock getting all the kills around the hard point, but there are players inside to be aware of. Trunks one of them. They will get taken out of the equation. Bees still trying to be annoyance here as well. No on the hunt for that gunfight, and they will get it. X-Rock, I mean, you're comfortable with not necessarily getting this time. You are making Godlike feel so frustrated at the moment. You're being so annoying.
You're being competitive over towards P1, and you've got those spawn sides that you really want to keep a hold of over the next 2 minutes. Everything coming up X-Rock right now, but Godlike have managed to find a way through for the final few seconds. It is a minute amount of scrap time, but still getting themselves back onto the board is important. As far as operators go, two on either side of things to be used to try and get some good time here at P2. I think if you Godlike, last time around you lost the spawn, you didn't get a great amount of time. You need to make sure you do 1 of 2 here as we head in towards P2.
Godlike just need a full 60. They need something. They need Neutrino to get some kills here with the War Machine. They need the kills, and they're going to find a Neutrino for 3. Surely not number 4 Neutrino. Clearing house here on P3 or P2, and Godlike Esports now in control of this hard point, but they have to flip these spawns sooner rather than later, and you can start to see them getting favorable positions to do that.
But you could say that all those kills come through for Neutrino, but what if they actually managed to get a hold of? Well, they've actually now managed to flip the spawns. They pushed through with the pressure that they had, and now are missing. Trunks hits his 20th of the game. Godlike getting some good time here. Over towards P2, P3 spawns are looking good as well.
This is the path back into this game. You are currently 60 points down. You get this scrap time, you go over towards New, and you get that full 60. Hold your operators for it as well. You've currently got 3 ready to go, but there's one player being a little nuisance in the middle of the map. Sunuo is trying to be sneaky like. How much damage can he do?
Same guy as last time. He managed to find a breakthrough, managed to get those spawns for the side of X-Rock. Oh, Godlike going to fold under this pressure once more. Oh, can they hold on to it? Suyono is going to make the move in from behind for the rest of their team, but they're already dead because the Sparrow is out. No can find one, but everybody else dies. Godlike, hold on.
Initial hold is good. There goes one operator from Godlike. They've still got one ready to go. Abee's now just going to pre-fire with the claw around the front. This is going to guarantee at least 10 to 15 seconds of time just by nature of how good this claw actually is. And nobody from X-Rock can get close now. Next is going to be Prevail here with the equalizers. Godlike is doing incredible work at the moment. They wanted to come back in towards this game. Feels like time. That's exactly what they've done.
25 seconds to go on P3. They've controlled it the majority. Can they control it for the full 60? X-Rock are not going to let that happen, surely. They're finding a couple of kills. They're trying to keep that pressure on. They really want to keep Godlike spawning towards his backside, and they are doing that now, but they can't find the kills as Prevail will walk on through. Say, thank you very much, I'll have 2 as the third on the table. Absolutely it is. He finds it. That's the hold that Godlike needed to get them back into the game. 4 kills from Prevail. X-Rock walk away licking their wounds.
Yeah, they've just had a player spawn out as well, so there's an opportunity here for Godlike to immediately break on towards New. They have the numbers to make this one work. Q&M, though, will be taking a bees out on the redirect towards the hard point. Here they go. Godlike facing down Sunuo inside, who's going to invest the claw to ensure early control over this hard point is going to be X-Rocks. This is the right investment for me. They need to make sure they hold on towards these spawns, but Godlike, they're finding kills.
They're keeping hold of the spawns, but things are very chaotic over towards the front side. Trunks will find Tron M as well with the Purifier out. So that's going to give you a bit of control over towards Ice. Here comes the pressure now from Godlike.
X-Rock winning all the gunfights though. Q&M and No combined for at least 4. X-Rock, they are wiping Godlike off the face of the earth. One player still trying to influence spawns here for a massive back 25 seconds. Q&M just keeping an eye on this entrance. There's no way players can get through, so those players in the backline have to go now. The spawns have now been influenced. I don't think X-Rock are quite ready for it, but does it really even matter? Trunks is inside with the Purifier. Can only find one. Godlike off the back of that might be able to get the last 10 seconds of time, but X-Rock, they're being so annoying.
And this could actually be decent time for Godlike, because X-Rock looked in complete control there for a certain amount of time. Godlike will just etch that down a little. We are going to be heading into the third rotation. Godlike are closer than they were after the first. That big hold over towards P3 is the story of that rotation. X-Rock did a good job over towards P4 though to re-establish a decent gap. But Godlike are well and truly into this game. X-Rock yet to break 200. Godlike trying to do their best in and around P1. We've seen X-Rock just frustrate them last time we were here. Can they do the same again?
Godlike have to be annoying here. They have to pick up all of the gunfights as much as humanly possible. Predator Missile not going to get invested for Roxy, so at the very least you're going to get that out before a potential rotation towards New, but the gunfight's going in favor of Godlike here. They sweep X-Rock.
They managed to do it. pushing in over towards the ice side as well. They're trying to get some sort of control for that P3 flip, but when things start to get chaotic like this, when the game starts to get close, you stop thinking about those kind of moments where you need to be thinking ahead. You start to think about the here and now, and the here and now prevail did have the equalizers out, doesn't find a great deal from it. Tron and Co just trying to fight their way over towards P2. It's broken 200 if you are X-Rock, but godlike, they've caught up, if anything, off that P1, which still has a few seconds to go. X-Rock will find a little bit more value from that point, but it's all about the rotation now coming on through over towards P2. It is a 30-point game.
Massive kill just made by Neutrino as well. Does he get the second? No, he does not there. So big gunfight for Roxy. That's going to get the spawns for X-Rock for the rotation towards P3, but there's still a wealth of time on P2 to fight for. Godlike will invest in for it. Bees with the claw on the other side. Roxy's got the war machine ready to go. What can a Bees get done here? Pre-firing. Big 1v1, and Roxy's going to win it. So that's going to be the war machine over the claw. X-Rock now on the assault.
X-Rock in a really good position now for this one, but they lose 3 gunfights. Godlike get themselves into control. We thought if there was a route for Godlike into this game, it was going to be Hardpoint. They are making a game of it here over towards Summit. X-Rock in control, but a lot of investment coming in from both teams. Neutrino will find 3 with 1 bullet of the War Machine, but it's no-no with the Equalizer, who just about gets a solidity for X-Rock. Godlike need to find a way through. They need to be thinking about spawns, backs against the wall.
Yeah, split spawns came in there for X-Rock, so that's how they're able to get through. No surprises, Godlike. Now he's guiding them more. No, my God. X-Rock now looking for the last 15 seconds of time. Godlike esports now going to be looking for that rotation. X-Rock can't get it done here.
X-Rock can't get it done here. You are absolutely right, but Godlike got the spawns off the back of those kills that came through. The splits do not work out in X-Rock's favor. And what happened last time that we went to P3, Godlike found a nearly full 60. They're going to need to be as flawless again. X-Rock only 7 points away.
Yeah, but they don't have the same kind of utility this time around, right? They just utilized their one operator they had. That's the Sparrow, and it's gone. So Godlike now have to get it done with weaponry. Here comes the spawn flip.
Can they manage to try and find the way through? The spawn flip is going to be there. The kills are going to be there for X-Rock as well. Godlike held on so well last time around at P3, but they fold under the pressure. 250 to 201. Godlike made it a game halfway through that, but X-Rock's lead never wilted whatsoever. To get the job done. P3 rotations be damned. It's about number 1 win. The number 1 seed coming into COD Champs.
Way into the series for Godlike. I'm not going to say it's closed just yet, but that was one door that has certainly been so. X-Rock in that hardpoint look just indomitable. Certainly earlier doors, what was it, a 60-70 point advantage they built off the back of that first set, not only with a solid P3 rotation and hold, but with a crucial break on towards P4. And Godlike, I mean, they might well have woken up in the second set. They looked phenomenally better, but it just was not enough. Looking back towards it, again, you can just see the way that X-Rock play here in the respawns. Hardpoint certainly, I think, something they would have had to work on coming in towards Champs, coming into even towards CDSI. Feels like that's definitely paid off, just looking at the way they play around hardpoints.
I mean, no was just taking over when he needed to, right? I mean, even that P2 moment that we've seen towards the end of the game there, for all them finding those 3 kills, and they actually did mean that the spawns were flipped after that split that came through. He seemed to be the guy that was finding the moments, but I really want to give it a huge shout out as well to Sanua, because 2 times in a row he was there behind them over towards P3. Didn't make it work the second time. The first time he pretty much flipped it all on his own. X-Rock at a full 60 off the back of that. Those are the players that win you games, not necessarily the flashy ones.
Yeah, you know what's funny about X-Rock is actually we were having a conversation, right, about, you know, what are the players to watch here? You know, for every single team, you know, who do we look out for? We want 1 or 2 players, and it's like, well, X-Rock, you could literally just choose anybody. They're all just that damn good. Obviously, no, it's kind of the usual suspect per se, but Roxy also had a solid game there. Over 2 minutes inside the hill, by the way. Shout out Nadeshot. 45 kills to his name as well. Chuanam also providing a lot of slaying power to the roster with his shotgun. X-Rock, I think, just completely collapsed Godlike in that first game of the series. And Godlike, I mean, look, they just got to hit the regain now. You're a 1-0 down. Now you have to go into a search and destroy. You've got to take a search and destroy with X-Rock, and you've already kind of misstepped in the vetoes to get that done.
I mean, in fairness, for Godlike there, they've been outslayed massively and only lost by 50. So it showed that when they were finding value, they were finding a lot of it. But I think, you know, we talked about Bees throughout the tournament so far. Dropped nearly a -20 there. That's the kind of player that you need to be having at least an even game. He's been so good for you all the way through the tournament. And look, we don't necessarily like to lean on kills too much when it does come down to statistics, because they don't mean everything. But I think that kind of proves it. The fact that they got outslayed so heavily, only lost by around 50. They were doing good work when they had the opportunities, but if they then find that slaying power, it's a very, very close game. Either way, map number 1 will go over towards the side of X right now. We were saying before this, though, we feel as if Godlike, if they wanted a chance in this series, Hardpoint was that route. They've now lost the first map. This is a dangerous position for them to be in now.
Yeah, it absolutely is, right? I mean, this is the key thing. You're going into Search and Destroys now, and I think, look, these guys are not unbeatable in Search and Destroy in their own region. They showed that, right? I mean, I know other Chinese teams are the ones to get it done, but still, they are beatable in Search and Destroy. But I think even between that, between CDM and CDSI, they have like a plus 75% win rate on Search and Destroy. And again, I have to refer back to the veto process here. You've chosen to play Fire and Range Search and Destroy. I know that Godlike probably think that's their best bet because they beat Elevate on it yesterday, and they looked phenomenal on it yesterday. But it also happens to be the two maps that X-Rock are significantly comfortable on. And, it's one of those conversation points that we always have with the veto process, right? It's like, do you
feel a little bit real now. Which way should we have went? We're about to find out because Fire and Range is loading up into the Search and Destroy. We go. It's going to be a difficult one. X-Rock now looking just so solid. That will, of course, be 7 maps in a row here at Combo Mile Champs. They're looking to make an 8 and 9 and advance onto the final day. Godlike still very much in their way, though, here, Brody. And Fire and Range, that doesn't necessarily favor them, but have they got it in them? Absolutely.
Yeah, you were talking about Sunuo in the last game. Watch out for him here on Fire and Range. He's going to be sniping the hell out of Godlike, trying to get those entry kills. Him versus the Bees, I think, is probably going to be the biggest story going in towards this one. Mara on the other side, though, inside American at the moment, just trying to provide some coverage over A, because that looks like the site of attack for Godlike here, or off the start of this game. If Fail can get this one kill against Chuan-M, that would be everything, but Fail's not certain about it, now having to find an escape route.
I like this from Prevail, though. Shows that he didn't like that gunfight, just advances forward. They wouldn't have expected that because he was a little bit weak. He moves forward, finds one, does eventually get taken down, but that was a lot of pressure that would have been pushed over towards the X-Rock side. Now a bit of a switch up here from the side of Godlike. We're going to try and maybe make a move, but look at this pressure that's now just immediately come in from Nono. He's going to be in a hellish position for the rest of the team to maybe do something. Sunoa actually pushed up towards the woods side, so there is somebody very, very close who's going to cause issue, who is potentially going to get caught out himself. But the map is split in a weird way here, Brody, but a lot of pressure from X-Rock.
Yeah, X-Rock with this mid-map control, I think, is the biggest issue right now here for Godlike. Sunuo keeping an eye on the cross. I think he will have just seen a Beast run towards B. He's certainly going to see the rest, and he's certainly going to be able to kill against Learn as well. Makes things all the more awkward now for Godlike. You're not only in a 2 versus 3, but you know that X-Rock have the knowledge of where you're going.
Tough situation. The grenade will be well placed, as will that bullet. Abiz gets taken down. That's 3 in the round now from Sunuo. Nono has followed up as well, but the Tundras are singing right now for X-Rock. Just put themselves in the right position. It's nothing too flashy. But if you're Neutrino, you are going to get an opportunity here. That bomb's going to go down, but I can imagine you're going to get collapsed on pretty quickly. It would take some sort of 1 versus 3 to pull off the round number 1 win.
Thought for a second there he's going to make a wrap around the middle of the map, but no. Neutrino now looking for it. Has he just found the perfect timing in behind enemy lines? You need better shots than that, though. He's going to find the first kill against Sunuo. No immediate trade. Neutrino might be able to hit the regen kill with some good timing. Even finds a second kill, but Roxy's going to take them down. 1 versus 3 denied.
A little bit scary for X-Rock there for a second. He got some good timing as he pushes around the back of the B side, but I think if he hits those shots a little bit crispier on that first gunfight, he's got an even better opportunity. But either way, X-Rock will find the win. I think they would have liked it to be a little bit cleaner in that 3 versus 1, but take the scoreline at the top of your screens as the most important factor. Doesn't matter which way you get it. Towards it, we go. Again, just reads Abiz. He's got their number and Learn's trying to survive. Get away from A, my God. Chuan-M going to run down the middle of the map. He will find one, not the second. Trunks will be able to answer back, but momentarily he's left all on his own in a 1 versus 4. Different look from X-Rock. They get aggressive and they punish Godlike.
If you guys want to look up the dictionary definition of the word sniper rifle, you might find a picture of Sinuan where Trunks now 1 versus 4, has to find the perfect route through the middle of the map here. Not only to pick up these kills, but to actually grab the bomb as well. Things just so awkward. Might be able to find Nono right in front of him. He gets the timing, there it is, finds that kill. Does he escape in towards the line of sight of another player? No, he's actually picked the perfect route to get away.
He's done well to get the kill and get out, but there's a big problem right now. No bomb in the back pocket, no information. But X-Rock haven't got a clue either. Trunk's making his way around, just trying to find a little bit of information where he can, but like ships in the night, we have passed each other, and this has become from an impossible situation for Trunks to semi-plausible here, Brody.
Yeah, I feel like if you get this bomb down, which of course I think is the precursor to any kind of 1 versus 4 scenario, you have to be fast about getting a follow-up gunfight. And I think he's been too slow about that decision, because he's going to have Mark raining down upon him sooner rather than later. Or maybe not. Trunks still not sure about this one. You don't actually have a lot of time to make a decision. He's trying to check all the different corners in which a player could be located. Has just spotted out Sunuo, but again, the shot's not exactly crispy. And now Sunuo will just get away, play their life. Trunks will try to get this bomb down, but I think there's no chance.
He'll try for it. Even if he does, it will be defused, and the kill will come through either way. X-Rock very patient there, in fairness to them, because I think there would be so much of the fact that you find all those kills early does, you start just sprinting around together to try and find out, but as soon as they don't have that information on the last player, they take their time. Right decision made to X-Rock. Shock and awe at the beginning of the round is really what won it for them, but good job either way. He's looking for a shot here to try and answer back to what has been some phenomenal Tundra play from the side of X-Rock. Hasn't been able to quite get things going in this series, and he was somebody we did highlight from the side of Godlike, who has been a huge catalyst to everything good they've been doing. Hasn't really got himself going here on Saturday.
X-Rock just looking so much better right now. They're shutting down the key players on Godlike. And Godlike, I mean, they just look so concerned about moving forward, right? They really want some kind of first blood before doing something, and once again, they've lost it. Prevail going down by the hand of, would you guess it, Sunuo. And Godlike now in this effort just continuing to be bullied by Sunuo.
It's such a factor having a sniper player who is doing this to you on firing range. It's so difficult to get away from him. He just seems to know where everybody is. It's a little bit of bad timing there. He may well get pushed by Learn. Actually, it doesn't bloody matter because he's just not missing bullets. Learn will walk into the cursor. And now all of a sudden, Trunks and the Bees left all on their own. It has not been a fun time on firing range so far. Still time for Godlike to try and turn this round around. And then maybe it becomes just a little bit more difficult. They are being pegged back and beaten to a pulp. 3-0 now to X-Rock.
Yeah, it's just the mid-map pressure here from Godlike. It's insane, right? You win that first blood, and it's just like X-Rock have Godlike, excuse me, have nowhere to go. X-Rock win that first blood, and the mid-map pressure is just insane. Godlike needs to do something, and it needs to be a different look, I think, here on the offense. Something aggressive, and here we go. Through the middle of the map, they're going to do exactly that, but they're not winning the gunfight. It's 3 consecutive fights in favor of X-Rock here. Now make it 4, as once again, the wallbang comes through from Sunuo. Neutrino 1 versus 5. Have this fun with this one, buddy.
An absolute bloodbath so far here in the Search and Destroy. Always the tough ones to get a cast over because you just don't know where the route back in for Godlike is. Is it potentially with a 1 versus 5? Well, it'd be some way to start the comeback. But even with Neutrino and his ability, his talent, it's just a step too far. Surely the shot's starting to come through. It's another dominant round from X-Rock. 4 to the good.
It's just every single time. I mean, Godlike even did try something different at the start of that round, right? I mean, for the most part, the looks have been mostly the same through the first 3 rounds. They try to go aggressive through number 4, and it's those kind of plays where you do kind of throw a curveball and it doesn't work that really does demoralize you. X-Rock in commanding control of this game. And now Godlike back to playing somewhat scared, but they've got 1 player through towards an advanced position. If Trunks can find a frag, that'll open things up for Godlike.
It's felt like bad starts to the round have happened, but that grenade just comes from the sky and wipes Trunks out. Bees will eventually get the better of Sunuo, but I mean, 4 versus 4, it's just plays like that that are just going to hurt you so much. But there we go, we find another one if we all learn, and we are now into this round. Godlike will get this bomb down, and X-Rock are nowhere near.
Yep. So you'll have to spend some time now looking for the retake here. What path do they take? Prevail, trying to be patient, but it's not going to work. Big read from Nono. And now these guys will be on their way. Did Prevail make the communication that there's not just one, but two players on the way? Does not matter because Neutrino not able to get down sites fast enough. Nono's going to take them out. Now numbers here for X-Rock.
23 seconds. X-Rock trying to make this work. If you are God, like, you need to try and stay alive. There's one gone. They know exactly where he is. They hunt them all down. You get the first bloods, you get the advantage, you get the bomb down. It just does not matter. X-Rock are dominating Godlike here in the search and destroy.
And the thing is, right, fundamentally, Godlike are doing everything right. The way they played that post-plant setup is perfect, right? You know that X-Rock have players over towards B still. You know they don't have any presence on A. So put yourself in a position where you can catch them off guard. But it doesn't matter whether you've got Neutrino in the position or player Prevail there as well. Does not matter whatsoever.
Well, the Snapdragon performance meter, if it went further than that, then it would be right now for the side of X-Rock. They're absolutely frying. And Godlike don't really seem to have an answer. It's now just a 5-man hit over towards A, and like, what, 3 of them are already dead. This is just a walk in the park, and Beebs is able to answer back with something to make it now a 3 versus 2. Tron M and Rox1 already dropping down, but no. He can smell him. Neutrino, the next one on the chopping block potentially now for No, but a little dip away. Don't know if he'll have that information that he's crossed. Still so much work to do here if you're Godlike.
And it's even more so now as you've lost the Bees. Wow. Even more so as you lose Neutrino. X-Rock are flawless on their defense. And again, Godlike, I mean, they're playing well. They are playing well. They're doing everything right. X-Rock are simply outgunning them. Sunuo with 10 kills to his name. If I go anywhere near Sunuo on this map, I'm running away.
The thing is, you can't run away from him when he's got that scope, right? He's just looking down every single angle he needs to, but he has getting taken down now. Lone gets aggressive in the middle of the map with the Fennec, and that has made the difference. Can Godlike potentially find something now?
Well, they've got numbers around B. Seems to be the site of attack here for X-Rock. Roxy is pushed forward. Towards Wood. Big kill. Trunks would have got that one. That would have made things more difficult. X-Rock would have had to go and retrieve the bomb, and push towards B would have been delayed significantly. So now they've made this one a 4 versus 4. I almost feel like that was kind of an unnecessary push from Trunks, to be honest with you. You had map control. You had life advantage. You didn't really need to make that.
I felt like he was in the position to win the gunfight as well, and didn't. Godlike not able to do much here, and the Neutrino's just going to get caught. Trying to have him just chilling. Now all of a sudden, it is a 3 versus 3. Abyss is able to find No, so a more postured round from Godlike potentially. Beat control is here though for the side of X-Rock. One player here to potentially slow this down is going to be Learn. Has some help on the way. Keeping himself nice and tight in that corner. Watching the cross, 33 seconds remaining. Now Godlike will have to hold tight as X-Rock starting to move into position. The shots are going to come up, but there comes the flank. Bees will find one on the Chuan M, and all of a sudden the gunfights inside the site start to run on down, but Prevail will find 2, and Godlike will find 1. Managed to get themselves around. X-Rock 6 to the good.
Yeah, not without trying, I will say, for Godlike. They definitely kind of made a couple of errors there in that round. That could well have been a 7-0 to X-Rock. That's the first time I will say in the search and destroy. I feel like maybe there were some unforced errors from Godlike. But still, they make it happen. Big plays from Prevail towards the end of that one. X-Rock, very different look. Nades, utility galore over the top. It's Sunuo snipe to take Bees out of the play. That's the big one.
All of a sudden, that site is wide open. 2 players still over towards the B side. If you're Godlike and you need to get yourself over because that bomb is down, Sunuo finds another one. It's just really been the Tundra show from him. 12 in this game. Will he have many opportunities to find many more kills here, because this moment in time, this is looking like an X-Rock map. It's going to be a 2 versus 5 needed, make it a 1 versus 5 needed. They brought out absolutely everything. Trunks will be able to find 1. Heroic plays needed with 20 seconds to go, and you're just running into gunfire at every single given moment. 7-1 to X-Rock. Domination in the search and destroy. Close map number 1, map number 2 could not have been further from it.
Boy, X-Rock on Search and Destroy, eh? I feel like if these teams good, they'd probably be in the game modes. X-Rock are just that damn good at it. And I think you guys saw there why. Again, I kind of stressed it throughout the entirety of that Search and Destroy. Godlike were fine. They were doing everything right. They were throwing a ton of different looks at X-Rock, variety of different strategies, and all of them were rock solid. It's just you cannot get past the gunfights. You cannot get past Sinuo. You cannot get past Roxy when they're playing like that. Honestly, it's got to be so frustrating. I mean, you're literally going through the playbook throughout the entirety of the Search and Destroy, looking for a way to throw X-Rock off. And the only round you do actually win is really via a clutch up, to be honest. Via that two-piece, I think it was from Prevail that got it done. Honestly, Godlike there just got outclassed.
Massively. And I think, you know, we could go on about Godlike maybe not being able to do this or do that. It has felt more like X-Rock are the ones just performing extremely well. They are yet to drop a map here at the tournament. That's currently an 8-0 record. We're going to keep running it up. We're going to keep counting it because at this moment in time, they look like the team to be sensational performance there in the Search and Destroy. Godlike had zero answers throughout the majority, and now they're going to be heading into a control on C-side. A map that they've lost previously up against the side of X-Rock at CDSI just a few short weeks ago.
Yep. It was, 4-1, I think was the final scoreline there. CDSI, albeit again, kind of an asterisk on that one because I believe that was a group stage game. So if it was a knockout game, maybe things would look a little bit different for Godlike. But the result stands nonetheless. And if you look across not just that performance, but across both CDSI and the Snapdragon Pro Series for Godlike, Seaside has been a very 50-50 map. So I'm almost surprised in a way that it wasn't the auto veto for them. I knew that Arsenal control would be gone. I was fully expecting raid control in this best of 5. But nonetheless, Seaside is where we're going to go. And again, it goes back to that conversation point of like, look, I know it's a 50-50 map for them, and I know that they lost it at CDSI, but is it because, hey, we've looked at the VOD, we know where we went wrong on that map mode combination, now we know how to take out X-Rock. I know that feels like a bit of a fallacy, right, because it's like, it's X-Rock, you don't really know how to take them out.
I mean, to be fair though, look, the Summit was closer than it was at CDSI.
Yeah.
It was a well-contested game between the two. So is that going to be the case when we go a bit towards the Seaside? Of course, CDSI, they play up to full first in the control. It was a 4-1 victory for the side of X-Rock. It's convincing.
It's just terrifying.
Right?
Yeah, I think just in general, this is the game mode again. You know, you are looking to take X-Rock out in the respawns now, right? And so I think just looking forward in this series, not just in the Seaside control, right, but just for the rest of this one, you have to reverse sweep X-Rock. You have to take a Search and Destroy off them, and you've got to do that on Tunisia. I know this is kind of later down the line. Maybe we don't even get to a Game 5, and honestly, the way the X-Rock are playing right now, sorry, Godlike fans, but it's maybe not looking likely. It's going to be so difficult for Godlike. And again, and you know, going back to that conversation point about how important the veto processes are here at Champs, I really feel like it is just a massive test of how deep your map pool is. You cannot have, coming into Champs, a shallow map pool whatsoever, because I think that, more than anything else, is the thing that befalls you.
If they find themselves on Seaside, though, if they can somehow scrape it away, standoff would be map number 4. Could possibly lead them to a map number 5, but then again, your backs are against the wall and the Search and Destroy. Map number 1 felt like a potential must-win. They didn't get a hold of it, and now we're heading into a map number 3. They are 2 games down. It's got to be X-Rock, hasn't it? Surely, Godlike are really in a tough spot. Just trying to think of the route back in for them. I mean, Seaside is one of those maps, though. It takes one good wipe.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Seaside, right, I think it is just a case of, and I think especially given the fact that, you know, a lot of teams do feel relatively inexperienced on it. This is not the case for Eastern teams like Godlike and like X-Rock. It is just a case of just trying to get yourselves in those advanced positions for a potential spawn trap. I don't know, man. I don't know. It really does feel like, I mean, you have to take these 2 respawns and somehow get the Search and Destroy away from X-Rock in the final map. That's going to be the Tunisia Search and Destroy, but this Seaside control is just going to be so difficult. And, you know, we talk about kind of what's been missing so far for Godlike in this best of 5. We talk about the key power plays, as it were. Abiz has just not been there, and he was the guy that was going nuts for them yesterday.
Well, they're trying to gas themselves up for this one. It is do or die now for Godlike. You can't lose another map. Not in this series, at least, anyway. If you want to see a Sunday here at COD Mobile Champs, you've got to prevent Godlike from finding anything else here. The reverse sweep is needed, and doing that against X-Rock, it's just a task that seems impossible, but hey, Godlike have done impossible things before, and Let's see if they can do it again. Into this one, Godlike need the reverse sweep. X-Rock to the good.
All right, let's see. Godlike, what do they look like at the start? I feel like they kind of have to come in very venomous early on in towards this control. So far, so good. They're in enough trade to get themselves on towards A, and of course they are going to go for a bit of a split push here. If they can get that gunfight from a B's on towards Nono on B, that would be big, but no, Nono's going to win that one. So now for Godlike, I think this has to be a much more visual approach towards A.
Gotta find a couple of gunfights. You have to. Because your teammates are starting to get pinned into the spawn, you're starting to lose every single gunfight. You do eventually get one back through Neutrino, but everybody else starts to fall. Len is there to pick up some pieces as well, but the spawn trap now starting to come into fruition potentially here as well, as a Beast can find one. Prevail needs to find something as well, and does. So that pressure was feeling a little tight there, but eventually they will fight their way out of it. X-Rock do come out better from that opening salvo, but Godlike do survive without too much of a scar, if you want to say that.
Yeah, X-Rock, they definitely tried, I think, off the back of that retake to push forward for the spawn trap, but it does not work. Fortunately enough for Godlike, now able to put something together for a push towards B. X-Rock, I think, are going to be looking for a flank either through the middle of the map or from behind. For the front, though, no one is actually able to put up a first fight against Prevail, leaving a couple of players isolated on the point here. Neutrino and a Bees, what do you got for us? There goes one. A Bees left alive here. Second tick through, you've got to get on the point. If you're X-Rock, you've just lost B. You let a Bees capture it, so an extra 60 seconds, that goes on the board.
I think a lot of them have been focusing on trying to keep the rest of Godlike in their spawn, irrelevant of them getting a hold of that point. They feel the position is strong enough to maybe finish the round. Snua now going to actually back on down, does have a flank coming on through, so a little bit of variety here potentially. You've got to try and find something here. If you're on the side of Nono, he finds nothing. Godlike have got a route through here. Into the point they go. They already had 2 ticks on this. X-Rock backs against the wall. For the first time that Godlike could actually draw blood, it seems like they're going to as well. Let's try and can do something about it. They cannot. Wow. And that was nothing. Godlike get the round.
And I think that was the decision, right? You mentioned it, right? The fact that they didn't go straight towards B. They were like, look, we're just going to get ourselves map control for potential spawn trap. It's a risky play. We always talk about that. If you go for the spawn trap, you have to make sure you get the kills first, and they didn't. So they lose round number 1. Massive offensive victory for Godlike. Again, this is the start of a very long road, or reverse sweep for Godlike. It's a brilliant start at that. Now X-Rock here on the offense. They decided to full 5-man towards to A. Roxy's going to take himself out of the play, and Joannam's going to go down as well. So X-Rock already down in the numbers here for this play.
Do find a couple of kills. Once you find something, but Neutrino coming in here with the War Machine, it's just the worst possible place that you want to be when there's an enemy War Machine ringing on through. Find something, but the kills have mostly been answered by X-Rock trying to through the front door. Finds the kill on the Neutrino, will push forward. Just gets a bit of bad timing as Prevail was there. But look at this pressure coming in from Godlike over towards B. They're trying to pin them back.
Oh, Trunks. Yeah, Trunks is playing a huge role right now, just kind of distracting X-Rock and burning time off the clock. They have to deal with him before they move forward towards either of these 2 points, and that's why they're expending so many resources and doing so. But Trunks is playing his life so well. That's a second kill for him now. Now looking for more. X-Rock, again, are wasting so much time doing this. Finally, Trunks is out of the play, but now the rest of Godlike are here. Trunks, that was a brilliant play for you.
Managed to get something going here. Swanon just missing bullets with the Tundra, which we have not seen at all today. Maybe just a little bit nervous now, X-Rock. As Godlike tried to get themselves back into this game. They do have a route over towards that A side. They've pretty much cleared out their spawn, apart from the side. I'll Prevail. Trunks will find 2, though, before going down. Purify exchanged on either side of things, but continuing to push here. Nono is going to invest the equalizer. They feel like they need to do something. X-Rock are trying.
The position is also good here from Nono. Yeah, this is it. A is gone, and Godlike know it as well. And I love this kind of call from Godlike, right? I mean, you've lost the point. Just get yourselves on towards B, get yourself a map control, because you're about to face down Nono with equalizers. Or maybe not.
Minute and 15 seconds to go. Prevail with a huge gunfight onto Nono. Doesn't find the second. Trying to slow them down as Godlike just try to stretch themselves over the B side, but they need to win a couple of gunfights if you're going to get aggressive like this. Nona's surely going to catch Trunks out, and he is. So a little bit of presence now for the side of X-Rock over towards B, backs against the wall for Godlike. Feels like a very similar round to the first, where X-Rock have had their backs against the wall and all of a sudden have come into life. It was the same for Godlike in round number 1. They're going to need to find a way back in, but so much investment coming in from X-Rock is making it very difficult. 2 ticks already in. Godlike have 1 final stab at this in round number 2. They've got to make the move now. Neutrino can find 1. Neutrino can find 2. He's just doing it all on his own. Cannot find the 3rd or the 4th. But it's allowed the rest of Godlike to maybe get a route through here. The kill's starting to ring in. They will eventually lock it down. There's the 3rd tick coming through. Not without A little bit of resistance. X-Rock will find the second round.
Yeah, just going straight through the meat grinder. We've got like there at the front of the point. Suno with the Sparrow. I think he got 3 kills from that one. Roxy, of course, able to finish things off alongside Chuanam as well. And Roxy will finish that round with a Predator missile and a Hunter Killer drone in the back pocket. So that was a brilliant response from X-Rock. Credit to Godlike, though. They definitely tried their socks off to stop that from happening. Now, split push from Godlike once again off the rip. It's a 4-1 split. Learn's going to utilize the Sparrow to try and do some carnage over by Winery. Will only be able to find one. So for now, for Godlike, I think it's just going to be retreating back towards B. And you haven't really got that much in the way of resistance right now.
No, and I think that investment in the Sparrow, I kind of twisted my face at it at first, but he's kind of invested that. They're pushing over towards it if he found something great, but the rest of the team already over towards B. So is it a Sparrow for B? Well, okay, you take it if that's the case.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that as well, Roxy just brings out the War Machine there. That's actually probably not the best utilization of the War Machine. I think he kind of spammed half of his bullets before he got anywhere near it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a Hail Mary play, quite literally, but it doesn't really work out for him. So B is now fallen by the wayside. That is an early capture coming through from Godlike, and Roxy now forced to bring the Predator missile into play. Not just for kills in this situation, but I think for information. They need to know where these players are coming from.
Truck's unfortunately falling, as does Learn. So X-Rock have had an opportunity set up here. They may well want to spread their wings towards that spawn for Godlike, but right now information is still not really there. Beast will find a kill. No, I believe that was on the flank or through the middle of the map. The kills are now being traded. Stripe kill feed, but what can I do here? Not going to be able to find much. Neutrino will find something, though, with the War Machine. These operators have been used so well by Godlike. They found a way through.
Yeah, that War Machine is everything here for Neutrino. Already found one. Firing bullets down range. This is not just getting kills, but it's keeping these guys away. Oh! No way! Suno! The collapse there to take a couple of players off the point, but Godlike's still not done just yet. There's still fights. There's still players left to take out of the play, and Bees is trying to do his best impression of a runner, but it's just not happening. He goes down. First tick, though, through for Godlike. That, I think, is a pretty successful push.
Suno has actually not really had a good map whatsoever, but that collat line up so beautifully for him, and that really allows X-Rock to just completely take control of the site once more. 1:20 to go. Godlike are trying to work on something here, and Suno knows something is up. He's trying to hold down the flank if he can. One kill here would be an absolute bonus. Neutrino just dips away, but now, of course, he has that R9 in hand. It's Johnny Snipers all over again. That's the second as well. He holds down the spawn. It's so important for your team because Godlike have now invested time and players over towards that flank and got nothing for it.
That is such amazing game sense from Sunuo to get that one done. To recognize that, hey, not just one, but 2 players coming in on the flank and to take those players down before they can cause any trouble is everything. And now X-Rock back in towards the point. Rock solid defense so far. 45 seconds on the clock. Mara's even peeking himself out of the point. Pick up all the gunfights with the R9. X-Rock being so frustrating now. Annihilator ready to go from Mar. How much more damage can he do?
He just wants to put a final nail in the coffin, but he gets taken down almost immediately. So Godlike potentially have a route through here. Chuanam will find one. And X-Rock just about holding on, but Trunks will find something of his own. You can see operators ringing through for the side of X-Rock. No, though, just puts the final nail in. There's 3 with the equalizer. Here comes number 4 as well. Prevail the next on the chopping block. Runaway Sun. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, okay, he's got 2 SMGs. We'll just punch him in the face. A potential route in for Godlike. One last roll of the dice.
Yeah, the Bees have to do something on the flank here. At least find 1 frag. They're ready for it, though. The pre-fire's good. Bees down for the count. Gunfight's also being round from the front of point. Trunks will get 2 with a Purifier. Is that the in for Godlike? You've lost 1 player down to the final 4.
They managed to get themselves in. They need those reinforcements very, very quickly, but X-Rock don't have the numbers to answer back just yet. They're waiting for their moment. Suono is going to pull out the Sparrow. There's 2 kills to fall and through. Prevail and the Bees have combined very, very well. There's been investment from either side, but X-Rock are coming out on top. It's a 1 versus 5 needed for Prevail. Onto the point he goes. Has he got time yet to get a hold of it? They've got to get there so quickly. Prevail has equalers out. It's the 1v5 from Prevail. Cannot find it. No, sticks a grenade at his feet, and that was so doable.
Yeah, and that's a good investment of the equalizer as well. Even though it doesn't do anything, there is a realistic chance if that nade does not connect that he actually gets pretty much all of those players. The equalizers are just that good. So that was the right decision, the right play call there in the moment, but ultimately it does not work. Godlike, just a hair's breadth away from taking a round off X-Rock there. And now they have to stop X-Rock. You've got the offense previously, and they're doing the same kind of strategy once more. It's a 4-5 stack towards A.
The win behind the sails here for the side of X-Rock. It feels that way. 2 clutch-up rounds have come on through for them. Godlike have fallen to the wayside, even with some really good play from them. They've seemed resolute. But how much metal have they still got in this game? Prevail and Learn will start to find a couple of kills, though, so that might just help them out on this defensive side. But no, now starting to push forward, just trying to put down the hurt where he can. The rest of the team here as well. Now they will eventually get themselves an opportunity to push forward. You can see on the other side of things, a potential spawn trap coming through from MA does not find it. So X-Rock haven't really made too much of an inroad here. 2 ticks towards A is all they have. They may well find third very, very shortly though.
It should be said this is an important defensive round here. If Godlike can do this without giving A away, they might well get a defensive round number 5, and they're utilizing their operators to get it done. Neutrino's already found a couple of kills here. Sinuo next up to the chopping block. He's going to run out of War Machine pellets to get it done. Does not matter, you've got a Bees there for the kelp. So A is no longer an option here for X-Rock. 50 seconds, you're going to have to go for plan B, quite literally. And with that kill from Mart, the opening has now been made. It's going to be a while before he gets the resources. Mart needs to do a little bit more damage, and he knows it as well. Towards the middle of the map, will not be able to get that kill on towards Trunks, but at the very least there, it was a good effort.
And now back on the cards here for X-Rock. Chopping and changing between which way they're going. Godlike just having to commit to something. A may well be gone. They've sent too many numbers over towards B. You need to do something special if you got like over towards A. It's not going to happen. So they set themselves up for B. The lives are dead even. A minute and a half to go. X-Rock have time to defend, but Godlike are happy to sit tight here. They have had some opportunity to set themselves up over towards B. It will be hard for X-Rock to break this down, you would think.
Godlike have 4 players on the point. There's actually a lot of them very far removed from it. I think they're very concerned about potential flanking player, but that's not where, for the most part, this pressure is coming from. Does not matter, though. For Godlike, they're winning all these fights around the point. A couple of players through the middle of the map. This will be a late hit from a Bees as well. Is it going to be timed well against these players? 2NM. Hoping he's up with that kill. No. Going to get the second, and there goes Suno as well. Here comes the investment from Xbox. They want to get this done now.
Oh, that's a big grenade coming through from Neutrino, though, and the big one from Prevail as well. That's operator shut down. No equalizer now available, and of course, Godlike will have that available at some stage during this defense if they can continue to hold on. War Machine being raw, doesn't find anything. So big investment coming from X-Rock. They find nothing for it.
Yeah, they've got like a now back towards the point as well. They were held back. If he could have found something there with the War Machine, that would have been huge for X-Rock, but it does not work. Now Godlike, I believe they've got Trunks and, or Beezix this time, excuse me, in that position once again to try and distract X-Rock, but they quickly deal with him. So that's one problem out of the way here, Ton. And now Godlike looking to try and hold on towards this point. X-Rock, they have to hit this as a team, but look at this flanking play potentially coming through from Neutrino.
Neutrino was the one that found the grenade kill. On to no when those equalizers come through. Do they know that this is coming? Yes, they do, but a distraction tactic. They will slow them down. Mal will pull out the Annihilator, though, and is this now going to be such a big problem for them? Doesn't find that second shot, maybe a little bit nervy. X-Rock now in a 6 versus 6 with the kill starting to come through for them. Neutrino will find one back with the War Machine, but Sunuo once again is clutching up where needed. 12 seconds to go. It's a 5 versus 4. Running away with this one. Everyone it's starting to fall.
पिछली बार 50% ऑफ में था इसलिए 2500 में पड़ा.
Facilities to win this game. X-Rock will advance on to Championship Sunday. They make mincemeat of Godlike, a 3-0 win. Godlike put up a fight, but not nearly enough. X-Rock, take that one away.
Just the minutest of decisions there from Godlike made all the difference, even in that final round. I'd like to see it in the replay package. If Neutrino even makes that flank, if he doesn't go back towards the point with the War Machine, I think they hold on. I think they get to a round number 5, but no. X-Rock will get it done. Man, just so difficult. Godlike, I mean, look, we talked about it, right? The way into the series was the hard points, and the fact that
एक काम करते हैं, जब जितना भी हुआ होगा ना, जब कभी हुआ होगा, इसको last time रखते हैं.
Really strong.
इसको last time रखते हैं.
But coming in out of Swiss,
ये वाले बच्चे इसको
we knew they were going
last
to
time
be
रखते हैं.
a dominating force. Really difficult for any of our teams to take on, especially this early on in the bracket stage. Godlike, though, like you said, they made it to the top 8 in the world. Yet again, a strong performance.
I think the thing is, though, this just further reaffirms why you need to have a good Swiss stage, because if you go through the very last opportunity, this is your first game in single elimination. It's so difficult when you're coming into this against one of the tournament favorites, but then that's what happens when you don't have such a clean Swiss stage. This is your unfortunate reward, is that you have to go up against X-Rock, which, by the way, the Search and Destroy was flawless. In fairness, the control and the hard point were relatively close. You know, Godlike had their opportunities in the control. The hard point was back and forth, but for the most part, X-Rock led all the way through. But the Search and Destroy was quite terrifying, if anything. So X-Rock looked the real deal, and we'll see what they look like tomorrow as well.
Yeah, you're just not taking a Search and Destroy off X-Rock. I honestly would not be surprised, even against their fellow Chinese teams, if X-Rock went through the entirety of the tournament not losing a single Search and Destroy. I mean, it looks that good. And again, going back to that conversation, Godlike were doing well. They were doing the right things. They just could not outgun X-Rock and S&D.
I'm going to remember that prediction. Between Alan's reverse sweep prediction and now you're saying X-Rock won't drop a single SND throughout the rest of the weekend. Okay.
He's committed there.
All right.
That's brave.
We'll make sure we clip that as well so we can reference it later on tomorrow. But it is X-Rock who make their way now out of the quarterfinals into the semifinals. That was a nice, quick day for them. They can now, honestly, watch everybody else, take some notes on how these other performances are going to go throughout the day, and that could be beneficial for them tomorrow.
Well, they know, especially with the next game coming up, who they're going to be playing against pretty early, so they will have a lot of time to get some of that research in. I mean, I'm sure they will know exactly what they want to do, irrelevant of who they go up against. But X-Rock, fantastic performance, and you're right, a long time to wait now. Do not need to do anything until tomorrow. Nice way to start their day.
Yeah, not too shabby. I mean, this is going to be massive confidence-wise for them, but obviously commiserations and congratulations to Godlike because they still did make it really far in the competition. Still a fun storyline that we've been following since last year, and it was just enjoyable to see them compete here again.
Yeah, look, I think the competition has just raised itself significantly from last year, right? I mean, Godlike surprised a lot of people last year. Nobody expected them to do what they did, making it all the way towards grand finals. So, again, the competition's very different this year. I don't think there's anything wrong with dropping out of top 8, especially when the team that took you out is X-Rock.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to talk to some of our players here. We've got F. standing by, I believe, with Nono on the stage.
That's right. We got Nono here, and of course, Brian to help us have a little chat. So the first question I want to ask you guys, X-Rock, you look incredible. You're the #1 seed. You're playing like it. Where do you find that energy? What makes your team this good?
No， 你跟 X-Rock 打得太厉害了。你在这个比赛是算第1名，然后现在打得像第1名。你们是什么方法到这里？
我觉得首先我们在这个世锦赛还没有完成最终的目标，所以我觉得我们还有更多要做得更好的地方吧。然后可能大家觉得我们打得好的原因，是因为我们5个人，包括我们的教练组，还有我们的整个赛训团队都齐心协力。
So they're saying that they're getting immense support from other fans, and it's just there's a strong sense of like familial bond, whether it's from the fans or their coaches. It's just all coming together. It's not just him, it's not the player, it's everyone's one big family.
It's an energy thing for sure. Next one I want to go to is, next up, you could play up against a Chinese team. I know how close-knit the Chinese region is. If you knock out a Chinese team or play against them, is that an exciting, fun moment, or is that like a sad, somber moment to knock out a friend?
所以明天你可能会面对清酒，你觉得可能对别的中国队你很兴奋，或者有一点伤心，因为你可能会打败他们。
我觉得不管面对秦九还是 ST， 还是我们今天对阵的 Godlike， 因为我们都是来自东方的队伍，我觉得没有什么，哪怕走的时候我们还是说其他的队伍，我都会感到伤心吧。但是我赢了可能会开心 ，because it's the team or family.
So facing against any team, they're not going to be particularly sad. If anything, they'll be glad to face Qingzhou because the same country. It's like a family, even though they're on the same teams.
That's kind of what I figured. Like I said, the Chinese region seems very, very close-knit, and it's just fun to watch. So a lot of fun. Congratulations on the victory. Good luck in your next ones. Standing by, we have Beef Mommy talking to the members of Godlike.
Thank you so much, F. I'm with Learn right now, the IGL of Godlike. How was that game for you? That was really rough because that is not an easy opponent to go up against, especially this early on in the day.
I would say that we were not disciplined enough this year, and Chinese teams are really strong, and we knew this, but today was not our day, and we should have worked hard. And I would just expect more competition in our region itself, because if you see, only 3 of the Chinese teams are in the top 8, and I really expect that the Indian teams grind hard and give us a good competition, so that next year when we come here, we're definitely on the bar to bar.
And speaking of your preparation for next year, like I know you just came off hot off of this game, right? But what do you think is something that you and your team need to work out going into, I guess, 2025?
I would say for next year, I'm happy and sad right now, but the competition is insane. I really want to grind hard, but let's see for the next year what the future holds. Yeah.
But I mean, I know that this is not the outcome that you wanted, right, for your team, of course. But I mean, man, your growth, godlike in just 1 year, has already been such a statement. And of course, coming in from day number 1, almost being eliminated. How did that feel like yesterday?
To be honest, we learn from international teams a lot because in India it's very hard. The gaming has just started, and I'm really happy that we got a good experience from here. And the dream is still on. We'll never give up. We'll learn from the Chinese teams. We'll learn from the Western teams. My name says it all, and I'll come back stronger.
You gotta learn, and of course, you gotta dream on. Thank you so much, Learn. You have been such an amazing player. And of course, that's not just for today. There's a lot more matches up, and not the only squad that will be crossed off here. Thank you so much, Learn. Again, when it comes to the competition, there's still a lot more things happening today. We'll see you in a little bit.
我们是来自中国的 S Rock 战队，这次 DreamHack 的比赛，我们将会赢下冠军。
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Since the year double O, we was on to get more. Bunch of really real G's, burning trees to.
Oh.
Sound waves reaching the microphone are changed into impulses of electric current.
No need to worry about your pre-recorded music tapes being accidentally erased. It can't happen.
हैं? क्या हुआ?
they really came up short when it came to the respawn overall. That seems to have been pretty darn polished. I think a lot of that is because, like Andy was saying, all 5 players have really taken some individual onus to be better in the respawns and not just rely on each other in search and destroy.
Which is even what we heard in the interview. They were saying exactly that they worked on things not only on an individual level, but together as a squad as well, as we get to kind of see some stats here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last few times, it's just one rivalry over and over again. How much can you take for Garena? For Stalwart, it has been pretty easy for Q9, but when they're going up against Garena's best in Elevate, still coming up short.
Well, you mentioned Stalwart. We get to see him for a second there on that graphic. They are the other team up here on the stage, so let's start talking about them as well, Ship.
Yeah, Stalwart is an interesting story because I think coming into this event, we really had a top 4, and it was the 3 Chinese teams in Elevate. And now all of a sudden, Stalwart's like, don't forget that we're just as competitive as anyone else out of the Garena region, let alone what they were able to do at CDSI, which was pretty formidable. They did come up a little bit short in terms of getting deeper into the bracket, but overall, they're looking just as complete of a squad as anybody else. In particular, their respawn has looked really, really good. Playing up against Galrus yesterday on the Arsenal control really surprised me. 3-0. Perfect. Really understanding the map, not just doing it by spawn trap, but just as a macro focus, they were playing the map well.
The only series that they lost yesterday was 0-2, actually to Elevate, and again, it has always been that chase. I feel like that Stalwart has been there continuously, and much like on the opposite side, what we were talking about for Q9, Stalwart do have their standout players. Skurd, throughout the entirety of yesterday, has just been on a different level, but that's exactly what you're going to need, especially going to the single elimination bracket. It is shark-infested waters from the get-go. You need these guys to show up.
Got some stats here for Skurd as well. Got to see some individual highlight moments for him. I mean, this is going to be a player that could potentially help Stalwart Esports get the wins they're looking for.
Oh, big time. And just to kind of reflect on not just Skurd individually, but how he played, particular against Elevate, that's where it really stood out to me. It was a 200-250 loss. That's a coin toss in terms of COD Mobile Hardpoint, and then an 8-6 overtime loss in the Search and Destroy. So it's as close as it gets, and seeing Skurd play like this on LAN is good news for the Garena fans.
And this is going to be a fun one to see up here on the main stage as well, because Q9, out of everyone we've seen so far, one of the only teams we haven't gotten to see on the main stage. So let's start talking about the maps, what they've chosen here for their picks this time around. Best of 5, obviously, for anyone who's just joining us, starting off with the APOC hardpoint.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, sorry, I was just going to quickly say that this is a rematch from CDSI where Q9 3-0'd STE. Now, the only thing that's different here is the fact that none of the maps are repeats. This is a very unique map set to what they had played last time around.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point that I was going to bring up. Obviously, scorelines are different when they were playing across the seas, but, you know, not seeing the Hacienda hardpoint, which you inevitably lost for Stalwart, 250 to 124, probably very happy not to have that one in this specific pool. Yeah. Search and Destroy, respectable as far as scoreline is concerned, though we do know that for all Chinese teams, they are very good at Search and Destroy at one point or another. But ultimately, with all that said, I think that this is still going to be a square-up matchup for this map number 1. Apocalypse could be the start that you need for Stalwart.
Yeah, I think for Stalwart, you have to win map 1, 3, and 4 if you were to win this series, which is easy to say against a Chinese team because we expect Chinese teams to win the Search and Destroy. But I think in particular, neither of these two teams are great at Apocalypse, and Stalwart has been riding the Summit train all weekend long. So it feels like both hardpoints and the control have to be won by Stalwart if they want to win the series.
All right, then give me quick predictions here. Who do you think's going to be taking this one home?
Q9.
Same?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I at
3-2
least
though?
Yeah, I have it going 5 because to Shift's point, if Stalwart are going to win this, it has to end in 4. Q9 are flawless through Search and Destroy all throughout the entirety of the tournament so far. So yeah, don't go 5.
Yeah, I've just got Q9 losing the control.
All right. Well, at least similar in who you think's going to be taking this one home, and it looks like everybody is going to have same opinion, same 3-2 and 3-1, so everybody matches up in some way.
We get along sometimes.
A little bit, every once in a while. So this is what we'll see. We'll see if everybody at home agrees with you well. If you're in chat, give us your predictions on who you think's going to be taking home match number 2, which team continues on in the bracket, and who will be knocked out, whose run ends here right now, because that's exactly what is about to happen. Q9 versus Stalwart, getting ready to go. The game is loading in. Let's push another team through.
Let's do it. And again, this is all about, can Q9 find a way to get another rematch versus X-Rock on the top side of the bracket? Otherwise, Stalwart look to surprise, take down one of our top 3 squads coming in to this event overall. And I will say, the improvements from CDSI to now have been good. Just comes down to, are they good enough against one of China's best?
For me, the word consistency keeps coming to mind when it comes down to the Garena region. Do not bat an eyelash at what they've been able to accomplish since then and now. But how good are you today for both Star Wars Esports and Q9. Again, playing it yesterday for Q9, 250 to 160 versus 4MV. Take that as you will, but between these two teams, the only one to play it across the weekend is Q9.
Yeah, and that's the other point about it is like power ranking that result, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Yeah, it's small data overall. But like we kind of mentioned, both these two teams had played it quite a bit throughout their regions as well as in CDSI, and it really didn't feel like this map leans one direction or the other. So that's why we say Stalwart. This feels like a must-win, and so far so good. Finding some decent time here in the first hardpoint, plus good focus over towards rotation and new at the right side of the map.
So have some threats nearby. Gotta be really worried about Mouchy. That is one of the players you always have to keep a close eye on where that AR is currently locked and loaded and ready for. 10 seconds still remains here on P1. Stalwart are actually breaking out from Ruins just to fight for the old 10 seconds of time. Whether they knew it or not, Q9 are spawning in Bufu, but you still have players hanging around P2.
Oh, really good finesse from Chen. Getting over to the top of the jump wall, finds a couple eliminations that will move the spawns in favor of Q9 for new, and he also keeps his life to make sure he doesn't overchow. Shot up over through cave side. Smoke giving him a little bit of cover, but as soon as they break through it, it's right into the waiting arms of Q9. 3 straight eliminations. Only one more player to find in the back, and they will find it. Really good start for Q9.
Now all eyes need to look forward. You got two trying to push all the way out to the maps, the rest trying to go through the hop-up, but if you attempt to try to go through the broken down ruins, you will just get gunned through a multitude of different head glitches. Some players are actually able to get all of the back of ruins, so a pinch is currently going on, but Q9 do great enough to be able to isolate these players. They'll get back in something.
Yeah, Clove just a little too antsy right there. He tries to push down, but he's got 2 teammates right behind him in the middle of a reload. Maybe that could have led to more significant of a break, but Q9 quick to rebuttal, find their way back in. From the front, though, 18 seconds of scrap time to fight for it. Stalwart have broken their way through cave side. Couple of nice eliminations behind this. Smoke will work out. Really good contest here for Stalwart, able to get this to a tie game.
Look at the spawns, though. Investing into P2. How quickly do you think they're going to be able to at least read this? What you should know now is you have a spawn inside of ruins, and you already at least have Clove turning back to look at the broken down chopper. Catches one. Second would be Magnificent, and is able to do that as well. Spawns will not flip, but this is very, very good for the rotation.
Clove has just been the hero right now. He goes for a 4 spree by himself, front side of the trench, and now all of a sudden you've got Sparrow out, you've got Equalizers out. IG just not able to find more than just the first, though, so the trades are decent for Q9 in the face of the operators, and now they have a chance to pop some of their own.
This is that time. Sweet spot. P3. So we're going to start seeing a lot of investment. We know how good Q9 have been in the past of just being able to respond in kind, and it's Ooling's War Machine to be able to find 3. A lot of space to push on forward, albeit the Sparrow pulled. Did not find everything, but the break nonetheless.
Yeah, really good 50-50 split here. The tug-of-war between the operators have led to success on both sides, so efficiency metrics looking solid. Purifier to try to change things up for Chen, and it will at least allow Stalwart to be pushed back just a touch further. Final 12 seconds, though, not really much to consider in terms of the overall scrap, but the push from beyond the hard point is what we're really focused on, and as Stalwart continue to try to fight through old, they will also have a couple of players trying to contest new.
This P4 is going to be massive going in towards the second set. I mean, just look at the way that Q9 are still forced out on the backside of the Useless building. And I love this heads-up play, at least from Stalwart Esports, but just because you have a superior positioning doesn't mean you automatically win the gunfights. Last alive will be dealt with, and should be easy pickings to set up on a couple head glitches here around the statue head.
So far, so good. Only one operator available, and that would be on to FTX if he chooses to use it or not. 61 plays 83. Q9 with numbers inside the hill. Trophy systems have been deleted. These incoming nades should start to land. It just comes down to, can you actually break through this cave system? It's such a nasty choke point, and that's exactly why. It's just so hard to break through. But with a little bit of help from a pitch coming out from IG, that's going to be enough for FTX to pop the Purifier and clear the hard point with still 25 seconds to fight.
Look at how much space that he's currently taken away. Purifier was a great investment here. Can you still hold for this back 15 seconds? Can tie up the game if you're able to do so. Not be able to do it all yourself, but you set up your teammates for success, at least for the time being, until Curly walks in, finds 2, keeps it scrappy ahead of the second set.
Yeah, the big news here on that break attempt, though, is not only did Stalwart get this back to level footing, IG is able to find himself a Pred Missile. That's going to be huge towards trying to win some key rotations, likely from 1 to 2. See if he decides to hold on to it or not, because he also has an operator to play with. And wow, the kills for Stalwart looking good on rotation back to the middle of the map. Just down to can they get the high ground with Q9 spawning on the left side of the map.
I mean, also just a heads-up play. You talk about the rotation over towards 1 to 2, and that's just all depending whether or not they actually lose it, as FTX is still finessing for his life. But previous to these gunfights that are currently unfolding from the previous spawn, Stalwart are doing a great job at just keeping Q9 at bay. That said, Q9 do fight back. They're back inside the time once more.
Ling feels like he's got to pop the War Machine and turns into 2 immediately. more around the backside of the truck, but largely speaking, this War Machine doesn't find as much punch as you would figure. It does allow Q9 to flip the map around, though. Pred missile had been spent from FDX, but IG still holding on to his. Here comes the next play forward. Q9 still dealing with decent numbers, but Clove making a mess of it, already on to 2. He has a chance now for Stalwart to continue to break through the chicken coop, but on top is Uling, and that's enough for Q9 to still retain the right side of the map.
Yeah, it's all from that moment. Midu Stalwart just couldn't just idly hang by and just watch all the time go over towards 1, but Q9 punished it. You're able to win the gunfights and flip the spawns for such a heavy rotation. It's a dead even game, 110 to 110. Got to try to find some stuns and nades to get over towards his hop up, but Q9 are starting to shut down the space.
I love this idea, though, from Stalwart initially. Try to just take your full focus down to the bottom of the map, because you technically have a Pred missile to clear out the hard point, but as they get pushed out, now they're just defaulting to playing through the cave right into the waiting arms of Sun Sparrow. You also have the Purifier playing up, and this is not good. You do not want this if you're looking at it from Stalwart's perspective. IG just trying to desperately throw the Pred missile in, but it's not going to really change the status of the hard point whatsoever. Q9 dominating on this setup around P2.
I mean, such an immediate response to your point there. The moment they got the information, and I mean frame perfect got the information, all of those operators get popped, and even the equalizer from Curly at the end finds 4, and it's just disastrous on P2 for Stalwart Esports. You thought they would have had easy pickings for how that first set started off. Now they trail by 40 plus.
Without trying to sound too critical, remember that moment, because that was lazy gameplay from Stalwart. They're spawning P4, and instead of taking the long route to try to put more pressure through Temple, they're just defaulting to funneling into a Purifier, an Equalizer, a Sparrow, and if you can't take by my candor, that is an episode of Will It Blend, and Stalwart absolutely will blend. So 167, 110, back over to P3. Stalwart will have a chance with 4 operators of their own to almost do the exact same thing that Q9 did to them.
Have one player, Rogue, still over towards P2. At least goes 1 for 1, does LG, but still, from all of those operators, they're still being popped. Look at how many more members for Q9 are currently around the objective, because Stalwart are just getting gunned. No one's anchoring the back spawns, and then you get flanked. Q9 back in the time.
At least for now, over towards trench side. Sun dealt with. Still more operators at the ready. Equalizer and the Purifier going to be spent. What does it find? It finds nothing? Absolutely nothing?
Oh, no.
And now Uling over the backside with the War Machine could clear up the hard point. Uh-oh. Not what you want. Uling is teeing off. All 5 fall to the War Machine of Uling. And that will be enough for Q9 to get close, if not above, the 200-point threshold.
It's just felt so silent from Uling just until the War Machine pops out. Feels like the return of investment is about 3 kills plus. Very explosive operator, and the snowball continues on from P2 onward to P3. But you even look at the rotation towards P4, you still have the grace period before it actually pops. But Stalwart are still trying to hit through the old time and trying to surround the upcoming hill.
Yeah, and the problem is that was such an expensive hard point in terms of operator usage. Now you're just dealing with just Clove, who has one at the ready. The rest of Q9 getting close to earning some of their own as they can win the game right here. And once more, here comes that same funnel, but just from the opposite side. If you're Stalwart, you have to get control of Chicken Coop. You cannot just keep defaulting. To playing through the middle. I mean, this map been in the pool for 2 years. We need to know. This by now.
Gotta be frustrating to be on that stage. They might honestly just be thinking about the search and destroy coming up, but that might not be a good conversation or a good thought. You still have plenty of time left to maybe try to surmount the comeback. They break back in, still down to 20 seconds. You know that. Q9 are still spawning over by Useless.
But Q9 have operators. And they still have the ability to run through Chicken Coop. Just the and Stalwart just not quite able to force the issue the way that they would have hoped to. So now it's a 100-point game. Only 16 points needed for Q9, and they're going to rotate back over to P1 where they already have high ground control through maps, and this is where it ends.
It is. I mean, Q9 now have a sweet pickings on how would you like to win? Well, we'll just call a game here. Look at the spacing being provided, just making sure they cut down players left, right, and center. But Skurd does have a Sparrow, is able to at least find two. You also had a push manifesting all the way through maps, so Stalwart in possession of the time.
For now, 3 operators, though, when Q9 want them. And they may not even need them. A couple of eliminations coming through. Clove trying to pull the hero play over towards the backside of Coop. Does well, catches a couple more. Stalwart now starting to zone a little bit further forward, but can they survive through this incoming utility? Just 11 seconds needed for Q9. It would have to be the remaining time here for Stalwart plus a full 60 on Newts. Not impossible, just improbable. So now it's down to what do they have left available. Shot up, trying to get the War Machine out. Only finds one with it. The pinch from Mount G gets an opportunity for the rest of the teammates from the front to start finding success. And this break could very well be the end.
Still enough time to close it out here so long as everybody stays around the time. You have to contest if you're Stalwart, and you're going to be walking into a lot of line of sights currently being held. The contest comes through, so we will go new, but there's already a player trying to thread the rotation.
Yeah, 1v1 over the top of the jump wall is going to be everything. Pushing forward is Clove. He's able to at least zone out for now. Again, Q9 still holding on to 3 operators. Hit from the front is where largely this is playing, but look at the play over through the jump wall. They're pinching it nicely. Nades and War Machines over the top. This is leading to now an opportunity for Q9 to get the kills that they need to move on forward. FTX still holding on. Skurd needs to be the hero, but can he survive through Curly's equalizer? Doesn't look likely as he rips apart the backline, and that will do it. Curly with the final moments, and Q9 take a very comfortable win.
It really does say something that even when they're staring down the barrel of having to break through P1 going in towards P2. They had those 3 operators at the end of the previous set of hard points, but then they just waited for the right moment, found some spacing, and then the moment they got inside P2 to call game, that's when you saw the operators being pulled by Q9. And it's those core fundamentals that do make them a very frightening team because they always have a plan and they always execute it very, very well comparatively to Stalwart that did obviously have a plan, but once all of your operators get shut down, only finding maybe at max 2 kills, and then Uling pops a War Machine and finds 6.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify how you can actually work your way back into an APOC hardpoint.
Yeah, I think, just there are some small differences in operator efficiency that was utilized throughout this map. I think in particular that moment from Uling is the highlight bonus one. I think Curly as well, the equalizers was unbelievable. But the thing about it is the macro of how you play the map.
Yes.
You cannot funnel through Cave. You just can't. It's a 5v5 map on what was initially a 4v4 map when it was played in the traditional multiplayer. You have to send players on routes. You cannot just run through Cave, whether it's P2 or P4. That's a day 1 mistake, and it's what punishes Stalwart.
Yeah, I mean, you just simply cannot play a card game with inside-out cards, and that's what it generally felt like. It was the definition of insanity. You're forcing yourself into very inopportune gunfights and more inopportune opportunities that made Q9 just look so brilliant with their operator usage as well. 50 and 34 out of Curly. A lot of those coming from the equalizer pulls of what we were just talking about. Same for Uling, 45 and 25. But you look from top to bottom, and just the assist column again coming through. A lot of good team shots were coming through from Stalwart, absolutely, but Q9 just always felt like that they were playing around one another.
Yeah, again, it's tough because if Stalwart were just to have tried to hit the outside routes through Temple, that map may look very different, but the largest stretch of points put together was between P2 and then again over to P4 where Q9 were just dominating the middle of the map. You just gotta hit, you have to hit a route. I mean, the common phrase in the COD world that we say is route man gets paid. No one got paid today from Stalwart because no one was hitting routes. So tough scenes overall, but hey, that's the one thing we talked about, that this APOC map wasn't necessarily going to lean towards one team or another based on statistics. What we're looking forward to would be Stalwart trying to take the Summit hardpoint in map number 4. But first, before they could do that, they got to find a way to fight against this firing range search, which Q9 is great at, and then find a way to manipulate the seaside control.
I mean, it's just, how do you not spin this as an uphill battle? Q9 throughout the entirety of the weekend are 4-0. Yes, they've had some at least close escapes, but so their search and destroy, from what I was able to go back and watch last night, has been very, very good. And I think that this does play into their game mode, especially or into their wheelhouse. walking away with how dominant that win was on map 1. Uling's going to come in here with a sniper rifle and just have a heyday.
Yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for whatever we're talking about, X-Rock or Q9 playing up against them on Search and Destroy. But in particular, I mean, this Q9 team is the number 2 S&D team this weekend. Like you said, they're flawless so far. Their average margin of victory is 5.25. So
it's pretty good.
That's average 7-2 is how they're beating teams. Whereas on the other side, it hasn't been notoriously bad from the side of Stalwart, but it has been one of their weakest modes kind of historically, and that was also showcased at CDSI. So the improvements haven't necessarily been there, and the problem is you got to have a firing range and then a Tunisia if you do get to map 5 that you have to take down this Q9 squad, and those are the 2 most played maps in Chinese COD Mobile. So you don't feel great about their chances in terms of winning this through the through the search and destroys.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely not. You go back to the predictions. That's why even I was the one that at least gave them the benefit of the doubt with taking 2 maps, because if it goes 5, yeah, it's tough to spin it. At Stalwart will be able to complete it. But I digress. Look, they were able to at least have a 7-5 win versus Luminosity, and that is super respectable as far as 2 of their wins in Search and Destroy yesterday compared to the 2 of their losses.
Yeah.
They did get blown out of the water, albeit on a takeoff, 1-7 versus Galaris, who, of course, are a very good Search and Destroy team. But kind of gives you a taste of what this one might honestly feel like. To Shift's point, you are sharing the stage with a top 2 Search and Destroy team on the weekend.
Yeah. And to be fair, this is Stalwart's map pick.
Sure.
And I think if you were to look at
comfort,
other regions playing up against Chinese teams, I think the rule of thumb is you have to win your Search and Destroy pick. That's what Elevate did when they won CDSI. They won their Search and Destroy picks, and they dominated in the respawns.
Right.
That has to be, I think, the key to victory for every team playing up against X-Rock, Q9, or Wolves when we eventually see them.
Yeah, I mean, the firing range is always kind of a toss-up, because, I mean, it's one of those map mode combinations. To your exclaim about Apocalypse Hardpoint, we've had this around for quite some time, so you feel like that there could be some unknown variables, potentially, for it to come all the way through. Again, when these 2 teams last faced off against each other, which was not too long ago, they did play that Express Search and Destroy, and it ended 9-4. So
yeah, not bad.
I would say that the armor is not impenetrable, but you're definitely going to have to work real hard when it comes down to firing range, really finesse your angles. We just want to see good utility being used to unearth some of these positions that you know that the sniper rifles in Q9's hands will be lurking at.
It's just one of those things, like, and it's something to keep an eye on throughout the day, is how often are these teams going to say, let's take the sniper 1v1? Like, let's actually voluntarily square up, see who wins that opening battle, as we're already into the action here in round number 1, and nades have already landed from Mount Chi on the Clove. That's over towards the B side of the map, which Stalwart still seem to want to try to push through. The MG's already up and blazing through these walls from Mount Chi, and he's saying, I've got damage and I'm trying to force the issue, but a late stun does land, and it gets to go 4v4.
I don't like how late this is honestly been, and now that the rotation comes through, you're not even going to be able to find an exit. So 4v4, we will wrap all the way back over towards A, but the benefit of doing that tin push, you'll be right back to assist your team for this push.
3 players for Q9 have already committed to playing in the obstacles course, even getting a little bit further forward. Son able to hit his first shot. Response on the way. Good for IG. Gets 2. Shot's not going to land for Chen as well. So we trade this out nicely if you're Stalwart. 2v1 situation, and Shot Up is on the long flank. Question is, do they have a tally on where Uling has moved towards? It doesn't look like it, but it may not matter because the bomb's being planted at B.
Gonna have to at least get through one before you can find the other. Uling.
Oh, timing.
That is actually criminally insane.
Oh, they saw him though. And Shot Up is deciding, do I want to play sandbags or want to play inside the site? He's going to opt to play sandbags. Time ticking away, starting to lean back towards B. Difficult 1v2 here for Uling. He's cleared out a lot of the backside of the site, but now here's the difficult part. How do you work your way into the actual bomb site itself? Nade being cooked. This would need to land. And, well, it's in a good spot. It does get a hit marker, in and out. Maybe an opportunity to get the isolation, but the time is running out here. And IG has backed himself into a corner where he's got the regen and an opportunity to crossfire with Shot Up. A brilliant little bounce back there from Stalwart after losing the first blood.
You cannot make up that faith that IG had to have for Shot Up. I mean, yeah, I would also trust Shot Up if he had to watch my cross like that. But, you know, it's one of those things, you get naded. Typically, our first reaction is just to move. That's the exact way that Uling wanted, but not to be played into those hands. A nice little bounce back to Stalwart when they seemed that they were down.
Yeah, opening shot. Okay, Shot Up also able to find Sun. So an early 5v4. FDX getting at least some consideration for his position. A couple of shots coming out towards him. Still fine and dandy, though, as the defense for Q9 is going to be tested here. One player playing a little bit more aggressively through mid. It's a little bit of a crossfire setup inside of the trailer with Chen on an R9. So he's going to be stuck there for pretty much the rest of the round.
The taking down of Sun, that's a big scope out of the way. As the push starts to manifest all the way through jungle, you do have two defensive players here. They're guarded by a trophy.
I'll say, trophy system already finding its impact. They're looking for the players deeper. They don't see Uling. This trigger discipline and timing on the peak is brilliant, but the trades are still decent for the side of Stalwart. You go to a 3v2, the flank from IG, decent. That's going to be a good freebie onto Chen, and now you just back up, rotate to A, which is wide open, and the only one left is Curly trying to rotate back through 10.
Timing is everything here in a 1v3. Might not even get a good look as far as an exit, let alone an isolation. Even with having a numbers advantage, Stalwart are not going to give Curly a shot.
Yeah, and the problem with Curly here is he doesn't know if anyone's playing rogue behind him through B still, so it's tough to get proactive.
Someone could get timing outside of wood. So many questions.
So many opportunities. So Curly just has to kind of put the blinders on and just focus forward. First shots are perfect. IG will drop immediately. Now here's the tough part. Smoke out. He gets the first. Almost a chance at the final, but shot up right there for the trade. Holds on and Stalwart taking early 2-0 edge.
HP advantage, but had the read. Almost had the full-on centering. Couple headshots away, maybe about another 20 HP. I don't know, maybe. My brain would definitely go there. But what a great opening for Stalwart Esports. Again, going against everything that we've said so far. Q9 kind of get mixed up with what Stalwart are throwing their way.
Different setup here for Q9. Same crossfire setup inside a trailer, but you're going to have number 2 in Mauchi playing top 10 with a passive sniper angle from Sun. Not going to give an offer to take that 1v1 sniper battle early is Q9. So different kind of more reserved identity in this round 3 defense than what we had seen previously.
Just waiting for the timing. Maybe someone could overextend. It's going to be so frustrating for Q9. They do not have the opportunity to try to dictate this pace. But you are on defense, you realistically don't have to move. Late stun going inside of 10. Looked like it did connect, at least on 10, but just a bit outside. Mauchi will be happy he is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, he hit him in the elbow. It's just real tough because I don't think you would normally check that angle.
Yeah.
So the fact that he does, finds the tag, it pushes Mauchi back into the deep side of 10, which now puts a little bit more pressure on this double stack over into trailer. They will not have anyone watching their mid-cross as much as they had previously. But time is running out here. Lots of nades are still available for both sides, including a defensive retake smoke if they want it from Mauchi. So he's the important one to kind of keep an eye on from the defensive standpoint. This is bold.
8 seconds. You got to go. They're just going to flood inside of 10. The timing is good enough for Curly to find all 3. That is not exactly what you love to see. It just swings wide for the 4th. Waited so long for the perfect moment to pounce. It just turns out that pouncing was not the right answer.
Yeah, and I kind of was trying to tally who had thrown what early for Stalwart. It seemed like they would have had plenty of nades still left, but instead of throwing anything into trailer, they just try to flood it. And that double setup on the crossfire is perfect. So maybe the first moment where you look at Stalwart and say, what went wrong there? Lots of nades and smokes being thrown over towards the middle of the map. Different setup again here for Q9. They keep giving us some versatility on what they want to do defensively. This time it's Chen inside of trailer, but with an MG. So he's got to play this a little bit more passively. There's not a lot of help for him unless Curly can find something on his cross.
How much late utility do you still have for the inevitable execute that has to come your way if you are Stalwart? Whatever information they saw previously and from the previous execute that did not go their way, they're wanting to almost play for a combined 4 chow.
Yeah.
Backside of B.
And the problem about this is Uling is watching this corner, and Mauchi, who was playing mid last round, is here for support. Uling gets taken down. Great stun over the top, allows Clove to go from one to the other. Now the rotation in. You've got a player nearby for Q9, but this late offensive smoke will keep him out of the picture for just a while longer. Most importantly, though, you have another player just hanging in the form of, I think that's Chen, towards A. So this defense is all about, can you get a good one-for-one contact on this eventual hit towards B?
Well, it's because they don't have the information yet. Curly still playing on this one-off angle. Starts shooting, and, well, will lose their life because of it. So now you got Chen and Sun.
Yeah.
All the way over by 10. Just trying to figure out how do you break this 2v4.
Yeah, and IG's in a great spot, top 10 here. He is just going to be a killer of time at worst. Couple of tags, slows down this play. Long flank now from Sun. This has to find success. Clears off top, useless. Nothing there. Now it's just down to can he get the shot over towards Clove? Not going to see it, apparently. Chen is instead going to be at mid. Sun trying to work his way forward, not going to happen, and Chen's not any success through mid. Stalwart's offense looking really solid at this point.
It is, and that's why I posed the question. I was like, I didn't count with all these sprites going across the mini-map on what stuns could possibly be left, but it's that exact reasoning. They're learning from what happened to them previously on that execute, so the late stun allows them to get that much further forward from the damage found previously on Wuling. Wonderfully done for Stalwart. Now they have a 2-round lead again.
Early nades on both sides towards B jungle. Trophy's denying a lot of it. That's every single frag has been thrown towards B closet, and Q9 doesn't care. They've got one defender in the form of Mauchi. He's holding deep. Everything else is all about focus in towards middle of the map, and there will be just a slight rotation over for now with Shot Up trying to find some wall bangs. Nothing's going to land for now, and things will once again just go back to the same kind of passive 5v5 that we've had every single round to this point.
Yeah. Again, it comes down to the timing of the execute, utility, everything. Lit nade going towards showers. We'll dodge FDX narrowly. But you do have trailer control still. You at least have somebody watching the exit over towards wood, but some late utility being thrown over towards B. It's going to alarm some individuals coming back this way.
Clove just gets caught trying to get aggressive. Follow up now, and this hit through closet is going to force Q9 to rotate back. One player will hold towards A, but this is fully a Stalwart hit towards the B site, and they're finding kills everywhere except for on the rogue player at A. Now can they isolate? Sure can. Mauchi will drop. It all's going to come down to what can Chen find on this rotation. He still has a nade available. It's being cooked. Does this land? It's placed in a pretty decent spot. IG's down to a single point of health, but the help from Shot Up is better. Stalwart get 4.
Yeah, that's just a tough situation. You're really hoping for the nade to be able to get enough damage, but still hanging out behind the bomb from that previous push.
Destroy the objective.
Could have gone 2 different ways, even if Mauchi found another kill. Stayed alive for such a long time over by tires, just was not good enough. Stalwart's offense have Q9 baffled.
Passive once again, different look for Q9. 3-man setup over towards B initially. Tried for just a piece of timing to check outside a closet. Not going to work out for anything. Now the rotation back towards A, thinking, hey, we've shown Stalwart we've got members here at B. Let's rotate back and see if we can catch something on the other side towards A. But again, Stalwart is just happy to play patient. Wait for the 45-second mark before they execute on anything.
Just trying to get
as much
utility out as well.
What?
The stun over top. Shot Up will find that first blood onto Chen. Does that open up the A side? I mean, look at the response coming through. They're trying to re-pick up all the way through mid. They're expecting it to come back over towards B, and why wouldn't you? Stalwart have been loving that site so far.
Yeah, this is interesting because I think initially Shot Up is looking for the sniper deep. The fact that he flicks down to find Chen in a weird spot is an impressive first blood. And now it's a 5-man stack over towards the other side of the map. There are no snipers here. This is just AR gameplay for Q9's defense. Clove, first one in. MG42 responsible for middle. Hold on a second. The Odin coming to life here all of a sudden as Mauchi's able to turn for 1. That actually stops the bomb from being planted with assistance through mid-map. And for the first time, Stalwart have been a little bit thrown back after this B hit.
Late nade from Wuling, and then a great realization from Sun. Hey, I should probably check the full flank because G was currently working that way. And the patience, but on the other side, pays off, albeit being first blooded in a very, very crazy way. At least you walk away with 2.
Yeah, and I think for Q9, just to kind of give credit where credit is due in that last defense, they know that they've been stunned up a lot backside of that car on the backside of B towards tires, so they stay even further back away from it. You avoid getting stunned, and those long-range angles end up working out. So we swap the sides. Q9 now on the offense. Initial efforts towards A. There's 3 stuns being tossed, and the hit behind the smoke will start to ensue. Clove has nowhere to go. Extra tags to FDX, and this is going to lead to a plan.
Should. Even a late nade should confirm it. There's going to be a little 1v1 outside of wood. IG would be able to really throw a wrench into this post point should he find the skill, but the timing's not favorable.
Not at all. Mauchi's taking the long route as well.
I love that.
Yep. It seems to be somewhat transmitted to the Stalwart, and they will take down Wuling initially. Shot Up, I believe he knows that Chen's in the corner. Smoke will come down. This is your retake, Smoke. Chen has been stunned as well. Here comes the play forward, but do they have an idea that Mauji's playing behind them? Shot up needs a turn. He does find the kill. Now it's just all about what's in front of you. Chen in the corner. Good for the first and then the second. Beautiful read from Chen. Initially looked like he was going to be isolated, but not the case as he finds the final two.
Pretty stark comparisons as far as how offenses like the first 30 seconds go in their fight range offenses. No hesitation. Able to push all the way across the test dummies. Getting right in towards that A-bomb site. From there on out, it was truly Q9's round to lose. Now they only trail by 1.
Heavy stacking towards Wood behind the smoke at the moment for Q9. Just waiting to see if they can maybe isolate over towards top 10 or at least clear it in some regard. And they will say, okay, no contact here. Let's get to work setting up over for, again, this A hit. And this is another thing to kind of keep an eye on. Q9 in their last round, it's 3 stuns and a push, then a plant. As soon as you get the site opened up, that is, again, just textbook Call of Duty, and they're setting up for the same thing again. There's the frags over the top, trying to delete the trophy systems. Doesn't fully work out. There's the offensive smoke behind him, and Clove steps up and goes 1 for 1. That'll slow down the push.
Now, even the delayed nades that came over the top to kind of mask this push still allowed the 1 for 1 at the very least, but now they're getting the heck out of dodge. They're leaving Mauji behind, but IG able to at least get back inside of Wood. Can't walk away with a kill now, 4v3.
Yeah, keep in mind how this round has gone. That attack smoke is supposed to be the green light to go.
Yeah.
So Clove going 1 for 1 stops everything. IG is going to need to learn that as soon as their execute is foiled, they're going to run back. So he gets a little bit punished for that. And off that elimination, Q9 will still get a plant together. Flash over the top, not going to allow for too much for Stalwart, but they still pick up onto 1. Chen holds, shakes off the status, while meanwhile there's a 1v1 on the other side of the map. Shot off versus Sun. This is an important one, and I love the help. It's just so damn good. Skurd, now last one left, 1v3, nowhere to go. Talk about trusting your teammates.
Well, it's even more like it's the visual representation that you get to see on always thinking about the future. Hey, I need help, I need to stay alive. Even if they do have numbers, just giving up the previous angle Mauji comes to keep his teammate alive is so important because that teammate over by Showers is the clutch position should something happen from the push out of American. So again, just Q9, always playing for the future. It is
delete करो ना, uninstall करो ना उसको.
Aggressive defensively through B at jungle. Nothing's going to land, but Q9 will need to consider the opportunity that maybe one of the Stalwart members have pushed through jungle. So they're going to have to play a little bit more passive on this approach, at least initially, to take care of that potential concern. And they may even try to re-clear jungle before they actually form their eventual hits.
And always have to ask the question, do you see some utility for Q9? It's going to shroud this push. 2 players still left behind, worried about the push all the way over by Wood. So you have a 3v2 over here.
Oh, then this is what I'm talking about. Q9 know that Stalwart are likely playing forward behind those aggressive nades. Skurd in trouble, does back up to a little bit more safety. He's got a player on his cross towards B, and at the same moment, ooh, the push forward from Clove. He should know there's some sort of a track backwards. This comes down to what the timing looks like. He finds himself in the enemy lines, has 1 lined up, but he can't finish the kill. Oh no, looked like he was about to blow the play wide open. Instead, now Q9 can re-hit towards B.
Even the slightest little bit of trigger discipline probably could have let 3 pass before they checked that one little corner. 2v3, numbers for the defense.
Got a hit. First shot misses for shot up. Yeah, and he knows there's not going to be a second chance, not with Sun still alive. Smoke out. This should lead to a plant. I just love how Q9 commit. We use our utility, we plant behind it. Give yourself a bit of advantage. Exactly. Nice snap from FDX. Now has the Fennec in hand. Here comes the Flood. They have not seen Curly yet. They know he has to be playing in towards mid sandbags. Do they have the opportunity to double hit this? Okay, for a second it
works,
dicey.
But it works, but you really did give Curly an opportunity to be able to clutch that play, isolating yourself just like that. But I do love the reciprocation like we were talking about. I also am very appreciative of how Q9 have no hesitation. They are decisively taking over the site once they realize that they do have an opportunity to do so. Yep. And Stalwart on that retake, even in a 3v2, do not hesitate themselves. Just get back inside the closet, try to overwhelm them with their numbers, albeit into that last 1v1 was a little strange, but nonetheless, Stalwart take the lead right back.
This is a really important round right here.
Yes, it is.
For Stalwart, it gives you a chance to say, we've learned what Q9 likes to do on their offense, and we can adjust to it. And I love the idea of this. They're playing counter flash positions on A. These hits towards A for Q9 have been nades to destroy trophies, smoke and flash beyond that, get the quick plant. Now you're playing back, so you have a chance to counter nade this execute if Q9 show their hand by way of those 3 flash executes.
Early nades, stuns, won't connect past the test dummies. A nade gets yeeted out in response for Q9, which won't come up with anything at all. But your biggest problem is the angle that FDX is currently playing as well. How do you get FDX out of this position?
You don't.
You just gotta gun him.
You have to smoke it and hope he doesn't hit. That's all it is.
That's another good play.
Here we go. There's the smoke. There's the nades. This is all about trying to destroy the trophies. Next will be the stuns. And this is now where all of a sudden Stalwart has to be throwing counter nades. They should know that, yep, here comes the plant. And the counter nades are perfect. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Stalwart have learned their lessons, and they're playing 4D chess. Sun tries to do what he can, but that is a beautiful response for Stalwart.
Now you know where Mauchi has to be coming from mid, but actually elects to rewrap through the test dummies. But the timing is just terrible. You know that the bomb has been dropped over here. You have trailer control. Shut up. Just has to swing upon the confirmation, even the angle being tossed out over by barrels. And it is just harmonious search and destroy being played on the main stage here on a Saturday. Fantastic stuff for Stalwart Esports, realizing that Q9 do rely on their late utility through the smoke to be able to get them their execute and get them their win condition on offense. And it's just as simple as hold on to a couple of nades and stuns yourself or retake it very quickly.
I love it. I don't know who makes that call for Stalwart, but someone internal to the Stalwart organization, give that guy a freaking bonus. Unbelievable play call. And now they're setting up for another full retake, but they could do this through mid.
Yeah.
They're not stacking towards America or Tin. They may try to wrap on trailer here.
It's looking like it's going to have to be a mid retake, at least through mid. You do have at least one player. Curly is watching that. He's going to get damage on the cross. Not expecting for this angle to be held, but win condition set here for Q9 to get 5.
Sun watching the long flank. Misses the first set of shots. Still has a safe angle to play off of. Up close and personal. FDX gets the gloves up. Sun still in trouble. This could still work. Re-pinch on the way from FDX. Does he get timing? No. It's being watched by Uling. Chen still holding with the KRM inside a trailer, and he will find the final shot to keep this thing tight.
Yeah. And the timing there on the retake of the last 2 alive for Stalwart Esports was just not good. I mean, IT was carrying everything over by showers, but you're still trying to quickly, with a blaze of glory, try to get inside a trailer. It's just missed timing, but definitely an opportunity for Stalwart to try to yoink that round away. But Q9 keep it interesting. They keep it within 1. Stalwart's still up on that point.
Oh, how about this, though? Q9 looking to get aggressive, but Stalwart have also stepped up. The problem is Club just cannot get the MG to hit enough. More nades on the way from both sides. Both are finding value. Q9 would need to clear out trailer here, and now FDX, he's just sending it! Oh my goodness! He's able to connect on the 2, but there's no follow-up from shot up as Q9 get us to overtime.
Gotta reach 8 now. Could be here for a while. Strap yourselves in. It's gonna be a wild ride. The more that these teams play against each other in the past 12 rounds, they have been learning more and more what each other like to do. Back to the offense now for Stalwart Esports, who do love to hold off for about a whole minute, but that might change things. Nice nade.
Yeah. Just a little bounce pass inside a trailer will work out. And if you're Stalwart right here, I would love for you to find a little bit more pressure onto A. You don't have your smoke anymore, so there's no chance to dive into trailer. But can you put a little bit of pressure towards back barrels? You know that that's where the only defense could be at A, and instead, they're going to try to see if they can take their numbers advantage towards B. It just comes down to, can they clear these players out backside of the site?
It is very different than what we have seen previously. Stuns, nades over the top. The MG42 can only go 1 for 1, but it's Curly back behind the boxes. Also has the read on the 3rd, and it sits nearby.
That's a risky call from Stalwart. We'll talk more about that in a moment, as they still have to commit onto this B site. Curly has kept the car push safe, so you know that if Stalwart are still here, they're likely in closet. And that's exactly what's happening. A couple of tags from Uling will confirm, but they will back off thinking that This is going to be, you know, if they were to play this, they're going to rewrap back, and as Chinese Search and Destroy often leads towards, it's going to be a 3v2. Let's play our numbers together.
Yeah, just play the 3v2 retake. Might be a 2-1 split once they do get the mutual information, but here's the hesitation coming through, at least for IG and FTX. They've just been expecting somebody to egregiously overchow, and they've given up the entirety of the map. They're never going to expect this full flank to come through when it does.
Yeah, they have cleared tires, though, so FTX can try to get back over towards the car. He's going to have an angle, but it's not going to work out. Q9. It's such a good call. And I love the fact that you call it, they're playing just for a retake, because they know that Stalwart don't have numbers. They know they have to clear deeper and decide if they want to get a plant. What does that mean? It's going to take time. So they have a free wrap to come around from behind. It's just really good awareness from Q9.
But it's the lack of awareness for the execute for Stalwart. Again, the stuns and the nades, it is a lot of risk, because you're not expecting Q9 to have this very similar setup. But here comes back the offense. Now Q9 up on that point.
And Q9 looking to take the smoke play into trailer, and they will isolate. Well done. Curly now has a post plant set up. The problem is, do they have anyone to clear out this backside barrel? That's going to be a bit of an issue here. Nade smoke still alive for Stalwart, who are hanging onto this back corner. The problem is they cannot contest this plant as the nade over the top does not land. So now they're going to have to play retake, and you have to be wary about what's in trailer. Someone needs to hit, and it's going to have to be shot up.
Really? Z cleanup. 2v4 for the next couple rounds needs to come through. It's FTX against the world. Has a nice little world star and the boxing gloves for the second. There's still time.
Yeah, it's just getting rewrapped on. Shots from behind, though. Alert him that there is a player behind him, but it's just not going to be found. Q9 take the search 8-6. And I will say, again, Stalwart did what they needed to do to play some good chess against this Q9 team, but the small advantages here and there continue to go to the playbook that Q9 brought to the table.
Q9 remained flawless on Search and Destroy here at Worlds 2024 at DreamHack Atlanta. From a 2-4 half to overtime to winning 8-6. Both overtime rounds came through, and as you said, the 4D chess was just absolutely perfect for Q9. But credit where credit is due. I mean, Stalwart just threw those opening handful of rounds, and then also the return effort once they were losing offensive rounds over and over again were so good. But then Q9, how deep does the bag of tricks really go? It's as small as just the littlest of alterations over by their B defense that completely kept Stalwart off guard, because why wouldn't you try to go back towards the B push? It's where you found most success on your offensive half. But when the stuns don't connect over top of the nades and Curly goes unnoticed and it's a free angle for 3, very difficult to combat from when Q9 is playing like this.
I think the other thing, I want to go back and revisit that first overtime round where Stalwart gets the opening nade pick onto trailer. It's a guessing game, because Q9 have sometimes had Uling playing at B with a sniper rifle. Sometimes he's had an MG, though.
Correct.
In that round, he's not sniping that back barrel. They think that the sniper is going to rotate to help A, because you have to have somebody watching that corner through barrel, and they say, let's avoid the scope. Let's try to isolate over towards B on the boxes. The stuns don't fully land, though, and wouldn't you know it, Curly's holding an MG over the top, but there is no sniper rifle that time, and Curly walks away with 3 to give them that advantage.
Slightest alterations, but the one constant is, in fact, Curly. 17 and 11, that's a hell of a lot of engagements through the rounds of Search and Destroy that we saw. 13 and 9 out of Uling. Said to keep a close eye on what that cat is about to do going in towards Search and Destroy, and wouldn't you know it, was pretty darn good about it. The bounce back from the 2 usual suspects from that map number 1 for Q9 now lead them 2-0 over Stalwart. And Stalwart coming into this control, I mean, at least you know that it could be a more favorable game mode for you, but 0-2 back against the wall versus this Chinese team of Q9 that you have yet to beat before.
Yep.
That is a hard mental bounce back.
I will say, though, and again, I think the veto process worked out decently here for Stalwart. Control is the one map that, as I said, kind of in my prediction, I had a 3-1. I had Stalwart winning the Control. They also got Seaside, which they played a lot of at CDSI. Is also their best mode at CDSI. I've only had a chance to play it once so far on the weekend through the Swiss.
Yeah.
But I think that Stalwart will be very happy to have a chance to get themselves to a map 3 on a map that they like in Seaside, with a chance to then go to a Summit hardpoint where they've been great. It's just going to hurt because there were moments there in map 1 that they could have at least kept the map tighter, if not possibly won it. Same situation there for the firing range. So it's the small little gaps here and there that may have Stalwart feeling a little bit more mentally taxed than you'd think.
I definitely agree with that. I think that this could be a very good game mode that you could catch them lacking, as Control historically has never been I guess, so favorable, but they have been playing it a whole lot longer going into this Worlds comparatively than where the Chinese region were going into last Worlds. But semantics aside, someone needs to consistently step up and slay out. I think that that could honestly be the biggest difference in between the scoreline being as respectable as it was for Apocalypse versus somebody that is playing as fundamentally and still fighting the slays comparatively like what we have from Curly going back to Apocalypse, a hard point for Q9's perspective. So for Stalwart, I mean, you're probably looking at Shut Up just to be able to be that guy, not only to be able to kind of be the tip of the spear, to be able to find these eliminations, but also make sure that these guys are playing just good fundamental Call of Duty, because this Q9 squadron, no matter the game mode, will punish you for the amount of mistakes.
Absolutely. That's been the case, I think, for a long time. It's just really interesting when we try to evaluate the Chinese region before CDSI, because in Control, they largely only were playing Raid and they were only playing Crossroads. We obviously don't have Crossroads in this particular map pool, so them trying to jump onto a Seaside and an Arsenal that they didn't play a ton inside of their region, I think just had us kind of questioning, again, for the second straight year, how good was China going to be at Control? Now, going back to last year, we had those questions, and we got a lot of very resounding answers. I think in particular when they played Crossroads and they played Raid. But Arsenal and Seaside are different monsters. They don't play anywhere near the same because the map largely relies on, can you spawn trap better than your opponent can? Do Q9 have that ability to give that understanding, know when the windows are to do that, and then successfully pull it off? Because even watching the last map with X-Rock, their executes were great, but sometimes they were getting punished trying to push across the map. So that's, I think, kind of where the question is can Q9 be better at that than X-Rock, where even though, of course, X-Rock won the map?
Yeah, I mean, look, what X-Rock were able to do comparatively to what I think Stalwart has been doing across this entirety of the series, barring some rounds in Search and Destroy, is being unpredictable. It's not playing too one-dimensionally. That's why, you know, if you want to go back to make an immediate comparison in between the modes, you go back towards that break tempo on P2 for Apocalypse. That's
क्या बात हो गया? I am live, but हो गया था. Like बस ये वाला जो लास्ट मैच का चल रहा है, ये वाला स्ट्रीम करूँगा. After that I'm losing this stream. दादा भाई, welcome Slacken भाई. Welcome.
Conversation that we haven't really touched on yet, but merits the talking point. How do you reverse sweep a Chinese team with a Tunisia map 5 still waiting?
And that's the next conversation, right? Because if you're Q9, you're going into Control. I mean, albeit a weaker game mode for them. Like,
कल तो मैंने कल तो मैंने 7 hours की स्ट्रीम करी थी, वो तो मिस ही कर दी आप लोगों ने.
Map pool, because that's always a conversation since China plays it a little bit differently, is Tunisia, Firing Range are the two most played Search and Destroys in this pool. Coastal would have been the other one, but we don't have Coastal in the pool. They were not strong in terms of reps on Kurahana. They were not strong in terms of reps on Takeoff. So I think, again, just kind of looking at the international side of things, you want to try to put them there. The fact that Q9 get a Firing Range and they get a Tunisia feels like a steal away. Plus, then you take the hardpoint conversation in the mix. The most played hardpoint map that China has played is Summit. So it's like between that and Hacienda, but mostly Summit has been kind of one of the linchpins for success for these three Chinese teams. So again, Q9 is going to feel great about how this map pool came to be in the first place.
it's just going to always be slim pickings when you're looking at a lot of these different teams trying to counterpick, pick ban just against any of these Chinese teams because of how much consistency that they do have. And I think that the same conversation is right there for Stalwart, given the simple fact that you have to pick ban for comfort. You have to try to get your best map set, and more often than not, when you are facing against these top 4 teams that was playing them going into the weekend, those maps become your most comfortable, but are also their best maps. Very slim pickings, but without further ado, map number 3 is very much so could be the last map mode combination for Stalwart Esports. Should they not win this here and try to force it into a map 4?
The other side of this, the whole thing is like, we're digging into like the whole chess game of how the vetoes work, how certain like minimal moments go throughout the maps, but we only get to have those conversations if we see two squads that are playing great COD. And right now, these two teams are playing some pretty great COD.
Agreed.
So that's why we dig into the nerdy side for all of you guys that are out there. Let's jump into the C side, though. Get into the action as Q9 will be on the opening offense with early eyes towards B. Stalwart's going to really invest their defense on the A side of the map through Winery and then try to re-wrap through middle. But as they lose shot up, Q9 are very aware that this next hit has to be coming through U-Haul.
And just the stack immediately inside the zone, just trying to bait them. Timing for at least two is not favorable, but Sun's scope, because of course it is, going to be able to find two. So B zone still being worked on, second segment locked.
And shot up's going to just test his luck, and that's what happens when you test your luck. Okay, Sun just slides out, finds a quick scope, and now the B zone is gone. Entry towards A, still being worked on as Chen is just hanging out, waiting to see if he can punish someone trying to go for a spawn trap. Does not find the elimination, though. So, good map control and response here for Stalwart, but they still have to defend for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, they sure do. And look what immediately came of that convincing kill feed that they finally got for themselves. They're only trailing by 1 life, but they do send 2 players to maybe try to get a couple of exits from the spawn of Q9. That's exactly what you have to do when it comes down to the circle and chess game that is being played at Seaside Control.
And Chen can get to work with the KRM, clearing out top bar, and over towards Secret. Focus from Ouchie on the flank is great from Church side. And now all of a sudden the defense is scattered, trying to retreat back to safety as FDX. Has a Type 19 to work with, but the hipfire's not going to land, and now Q9 are working on their re-entry back in towards Winery. Good stuff so far from Sun as he gets the second, well predicted. The opportunity for a pitch to come through, but Sun right there for the trade, and now he's got the Tundra out. Sun's doing it all with whatever's on the ground. Doesn't make a difference, give this guy a butter knife. He'll find a way to make it work as Sun's on 5. Sparrow at the ready, and he says, no reason to wait. Let me just keep the kill streak going, and that may be enough to blow Stalwart out of this first round, although the response is good from FDX and IG to get back in.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, Mr. Wayne, and that is just how Sun felt coming in towards this map number 3. 9 eliminations, gets the Sparrow, rips it immediately, still has a Predator missile going towards the second round. It is so good. Curly also got a Predator missile at the end of it as well, and it just goes back to the consistency of you have Curly, Uling, Mauchi, Chen, any one of these guys, including what you just saw from Sun, can pop off just like that. Insanity.
Unreal stuff. Stalwart now have to put together some sort of formidable response, and it's in the face of operators and kill streaks at the ready. Curly has already shown dominance with the equalizers. When does he want to pull those out? Well, Mauchi is still going to work on the left-right combo. Gloves aren't going to connect, obviously, and Stalwart will have some early entry in towards the point, but immediately get pushed back out. Mid-map focus with maybe a chance for Clove to work on a bit of a spawn trap, but he's got an R9, so he's just going to be playing this over towards Bakery.
Just trying to get in their face. Oh my. Tough sometimes.
Not the gun you want.
Nope, 1v1, but the War Machine down in the Winery in the barrels. Might just have to keep them at bay a little bit longer. You got double progress currently working, splitting defenders up, but nice. IG is just able to find value after value with each grenade. Clove will be there for at least one more from the equalizers.
And the 1v1 over towards speed does work out. Curly calling in the cruise, only able to find one with it. And that's enough for a double stack to start to ensue over towards B. This is a chalk and rotate moment here for Q9. Trying to get aggressive, but getting punished. Good response here from Shot Up, still holding over towards this tight corner. Needs help, though, and help is on the way as it starts to rotate in through Church side. IG able to connect. Odin in hand for him. They're still trying to find Chen in this back corner, who's done well to kind of avoid a lot of this incoming utility, and he's going to come up from behind with a Purifier. Oh, the timing on that pullout is absolutely beautiful, but at the same breath, Skurd makes a bit of a mess over towards the opposite side. Q9 will be bounced out of the point.
So good progress, and just for under 10 minutes, you also have to take a look at the lives. 17 v 10. Skurd went AWOL over by that A control zone, and that's the lead that you currently see right now. You can relentlessly assault this. Skurd now with the claw, just slides on in for 2.
Trying to get number 3, will be able to find it. 15 plays up against 5. That annihilator we had out for FDX, really trying to pack a bit of a punch. But this round will likely go the way of Stalwart. The offense absolutely perfect for both sides. All 3 ticks captured. And that's enough to get us tied up going to the third round.
Yep, even Stevens going in towards the third, back towards Q9's offense. And what have you learned from Stalwart to be able to combat it against this coming in towards this one? No, you do have a Pred missile in the back pocket of Sun. You do have Curly and Mauchi's operators should they decide to pull that out. Nothing in response for Stalwart Esports that's going to pull some explosivity and what Q9 is currently playing with. So they're going to take it through mid, try to get over towards A first.
Trophy systems are down. IG kicks us off for the first. Curly equalizers out, gets kind of baited into pushing into the stalwart defense, and that's only going to lead to a single elimination. So not the most efficiency there. Nice moment from Mauchi to hold on, make sure that this stalwart defense can't push too far forward, but there is at least one player lurking. That is Skirt around the back, waiting for his time to hit. SQ9 get to work once again, opening up barrels. Here comes Skirt on the pinch, shut down off the spawn from Uling, and that's going to be enough now for the stack to be in at A.
Slow capture though, and that's because Chen here with the Q9 decided to push all the way up into the fencing. He's gonna get caught on the cross. There is assistance now though, so Q9 might have thought that they had numbers, but Clove just flies on in for 2. Uling feels like he has to hold the War Machine. Yeah, was crazy with this combination back in map number 1.
And Stalwart just have to stay back, wait for it to expire. They do so perfectly. Absolutely well done, and then you hit for your retake. This is good clinical Call of Duty, friends. Absolutely beautifully done. FBX turns that into 3, waiting for that War Machine to expire, and now IG's got one of his own as he tries to take the attention up towards the top statue, and IG's going to connect for now 3 in this life. Maybe more to come as he moves in towards checkers, and he finds Chen. Really well done as Stalwart's defense now has the map, they've got the time, and they've got the lives.
25 seconds remain. Sun saw all the value that was being pulled for Stalwart Esports and their operators and thought the Predator missile should be helpful. Nobody was in a position to try to gain value from that after your team was still in the spawn. So now you're desperately trying to get across the map. 20 seconds remains, 15 plays up against 9.
And they're going to try to run right into Shot Up. Who's got the R9 ready to go? Split focus here for Q9, just trying to get into one of the zones. Doesn't really make a difference which one at this point. Just something to stop the clock. 14 plays 7. Opportunity to open things up at B. The defense still putting a lot of value onto the A side of the map. 6 seconds on the clock. If you get all 3 ticks, you'll add an extra minute, which would be huge for Q9's attempts. And Stalwart, they look like they want to set up to try to re-break this, but they don't have the numbers to do so. And this could get dangerous. If they commit to this and lose lives, it's going to be even in the life count, and they will get picked apart. Second tick done, third on the way, and Q9 have made this manageable 5v9.
This is where you cannot afford to scam if you are Q9. You do have a winnable situation here. You do have 2 operators in the back pocket for 2 different Q9 members. Should you want to use it, the only thing in response would be shout out. It would be so good if you can get at least one of these operators out for Stalwart, but there's Sun with a sniper, first blood.
And the problem is Skirt only sees 1. He doesn't know how many players are making this play around the back. And there's time for Q9 to set up a bit of a spawn trap here. They could farm a kill a couple of times over and turn this into essentially a 5v5. Clove comes back to the play, only gets 1. Now the hit from the back starting to look good. Stalwart are split. This is winnable, super winnable in fact. The clock is stopped at 36 seconds. Stalwart trying to get a bit of a surround. Chen shut down from one side. Sun trying to respond with a Sparrow. Looking decent for now. Here comes the pitch, though. Only gets 1 with it. FDX has got the Annihilator out. You got to find the contact. Q9 still winning in the gunfight. 2v1 situation. Curly with the equalizers. IG trying to make his way back through. He needs a touch. He needs a contest. He's not going to be able to. And Q9 pull off a 5v9.
Ready up.
It was about a good 8-life lead there at one point, friend.
Dude, it's because Skirt only sees 1.
Yeah, he only gets that 1 bit of information, but I mean, it's just the overextension immediately gets punished. They're all playing from within the zone, and it's just a flip of a hat that Q9, once they are in possession, they can dictate the pace. That is going to be punishing, especially with the Annihilator being pulled there in desperation at the end. So you just have the Sparrow. Sun has a sniper rifle. Shot up, only find 1.
Defense already playing forward. Purifier out for Chen. Not a great spot for it, but may not make much of a difference as Curly calls in the Pred missile. That will land. Mauchi in a little bit of trouble with the Annihilator out. Connects onto 1. Regen still waiting to come through fully. Gets back to full health. Stalwart not being trapped yet, but it's on the way. Oh, and Mauchi knows there's a player playing topside rooftops. Not going to be needed, though, as Q9 will pick it up, and now they've got him completely pinned up over towards the top side of the spawn.
Clove going to get caught.
Pain.
And this is
pain.
So when you look up in the COD Mobile dictionary of losing full and stuck in your spawn, seaside control is the exact thing that pops up. Pred missile also for insult to injury. IG has to pull out a War Machine just to get out of their freaking spawn. There's 3 kills to come through, but still Q9 members hanging around the joint.
Yeah, and Uling on the staircase, just too difficult of a position to push him out of. That's a 25 play 7. Oh, Stalwart. This, again, another map that you're going to look back at one moment and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Last 8 seconds, last attempts to try to get this alive as Sun will drop, the clock will stop, but at the 22 before, Q9 have done everything they need to walk away with a 3-0.
Yeah, it's looking likely. Miracles might happen, but not on this main stage, not today, as Uling will just dance around the arches early. We'll finish with 25 eliminations, 23 for Sun, the majority of those all coming.
Tension, hey, don't at me, boo, don't even mention. Nah, that boy that fake water retention. Yeah, can't play no games inside my section. Nah, it's getting dark, I feel the tension.